WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Let's have a good Thursday morning. John Kincade Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Good morning to you. Some of us had really good Wednesday nights. The Sixers didn't. Temple and St. Joe's most certainly did. As we get ready for the big event on Saturday, too, the inaugural MHS Lift Big Five Classic. And want to remind Brendan Gunn that the sixth place team will play in the 2 o'clock game. So now Brendan can do something on Saturday night with his lovely lady.
Oh, it was nice to the squad.
He'll be done by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's nice. So Brendan will be free and clear. He'll be done. Huge win for St. Joe's last night at Villanova.
What a good game.
Oh, my gosh.
I watched every
Great
second
game.
of it. What a good game. Yeah, it was a really good Big Five game. We'll have Billy Lang on, head coach of St. Joe's, later on today, around 9:30. But, yeah, that was just a good, hard, really well-played basketball game last night.
I kept waiting for the slip from St. Joe's, Bob. I kept waiting for them to have that slip where, okay, they're playing a little over their heads here at Villanova. This is a big one. And it never came.
No.
It never came. But defensively, I think, was part of the big deal.
Well, when you have guards controlling the game that are your best players, that helps an awful lot.
They did a great job.
Yeah, it was good.
That is fantastic. Temple wins in triple overtime. And I said to Bob, I don't remember ever a triple overtime game. And Fran Dunphy and his crew, man, they gave it everything they got, as did the Owls. So the first place game, Pat, just so you know, the first place, second place game. So decide the championship.
The only one that cares.
The one that game. Temple and St. Joe's, 7:30 on Saturday night. NBC Sports Philadelphia plus our partners will have the championship game Saturday night. That's a pretty good slate. LaSalle and Penn, too. LaSalle and Penn is always a scrappy matchup. So that's scrappy.
It's perfect Big Five stuff. Look, Villanova has owned it. We all know their success and all. And people want to see somebody else there. Well, you're getting somebody else there to get a championship. Then when you have Penn LaSalle, it's so Big Five in that the Penn coach, Stevie Donahue, who's going to be with us tomorrow on our show, was a long-time assistant under Fran Dunphy at Penn. And now Fran's over at LaSalle, of course. So it's just, I don't know if this could have worked out any better for the Big Five. I really don't. It's awfully good. I'm not shunning Villanova at all. I'm not. It's just
the Pat and I will do that for you.
Maybe it's somebody else's turn kind of thing. But yeah, this is what I love, and I can't wait. I'm going down with a bunch of friends on Sunday. I can't wait, or Saturday rather. I can't wait to get down there.
Should be absolutely amazing, and be great to hear from the coaches today and tomorrow a little bit more as we get ready for the big matchup. All right, so Sixers last night. Joel Embiid out due to illness. I think look, maybe Joel's sick. There's always something. There's just always something. And it is cold and flu season. I guess it's just getting started. But that was a little bit depressing last night because that game was over in the first quarter. I did not see a comeback coming or anything like that. That just is, without the big man, I don't know what they're expected to do in that spot.
Yeah, it's he's it. He's your foundation. He's what you're about. And when you have Zion Williamson shooting altogether foul shots and field goals, 24 and missing only 2 of them, yeah, it's not going to be a good night for you.
I'll let Chris Barry from my email ask the question, and I would admit that I wanted to ask the question too. Are the Sixers finding ways to get him his maintenance days around the new rules? Joel's already had the hip. He's now gotten sick. We're not even 20 games into the season. And there, again, and he uses my words, there always is something going on. Are they just trying to duck the rules? I don't know. I told him, I said, I didn't give him a COVID test or send him to the nurse. I don't know. But it's just That is I think teams are going to find their way around this. I think teams are going to find their way around the rules, and they're going to find ways to say, we want to get somebody some rest. Well, they're sick. You can't tell us they're not sick. You can't tell us that their foot doesn't hurt tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're just going to find ways to be able to dodge the rules. I don't know what the new rules even mean. Like, as far as trying to get these players to play. I don't get it.
He's on pace to miss 2 of the first 20. So you take that over 80, that's 8 games in a year. If he misses 8 to 10 games, I'm perfectly fine with that.
There's also a coach that's out with an illness, too.
Yeah,
So it just seems like
exactly.
something's going.
Seems like there's a lot of it's cold and flu season. I mean, it seems like everybody's. I listened to Andrew the other day, and I walked by and I said, "What's with your voice?" And he goes, "My kid." The grunge that these young children, Pat, we live through it. Bob and I have lived through it. That's why we're tough like cavemen.
Yeah, it ain't fun.
Yeah, it's not.
What I'll say.
You remember it though, Bob. You had
day,
4. I can't even imagine. Your household must have been just. There must have been, when one kid got a cold, it probably got spread.
Yeah, there was a lot of pink stuff in the refrigerator for a long time.
Oh, yes.
You remember that, right,
Oh,
Pat? You going through that now anytime the kid's sick? Just give me the pink stuff. The amoxicillin.
Yeah,
you get that still?
No. Well, I don't want to jinx anything, but he hasn't been on.
He's been good?
He's been all right. He's just, he's like the other day, he's having a meltdown and he's got snot coming out of his face. And I'm like, dude, let me clean that up. And he just starts wiping it on the couch. I'm like, are you serious?
That's what they do. Yeah.
They're kids.
You're not going to have clean clothes, furniture, house, car, anything for another, 15, 16 years, Pat.
So just be ready for it, Pat.
That's just the way it is.
I told Brennan Gum, for all you people that don't have kids, just don't buy the lies.
There you go.
Don't buy the lies. It's so great.
It is great.
So much better. It is, but yeah,
I got you.
I don't want to hear it today.
Look, the Temple game was a big win for us.
It was, yeah.
We'll take it.
It's huge.
I tried to bring Pat into my sports world a little bit yesterday. Early evening, my wife was out to dinner with her friends. It was just me and my son Tommy at home. So I'm making dinner, and I got something on the TV, and I text Pat, and I'm like, hey, you watching this? Isn't this cool? Blah, blah, blah. And he gives me I would rather dip my whatever in a hot vat of oil than watch what you're watching.
Was it? What were you watching?
Come on, Pat.
Okay, first of all.
What was you watching?
I corrected it and said, I apologize. It wasn't my fault. That was an iPhone autocorrect to, I appreciate you alerting me to this.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to respectfully pass.
He was out.
What was it?
I was out and about.
Tennessee Notre Dame women's basketball game last night.
Nope.
Hannah Hidalgo, who's a local girl, one of the best players in the country, a freshman, a true freshman. Spectacular to see from Paul Six High School over in New Jersey.
There were 2 good basketball games going on with men.
That was earlier. That one started at 5, and then it took you right up into St. Joe's Villanova. I was giving him play-by-play. I kept him updated.
Pat.
He wasn't appreciating
at 6:16, I texted Bob, I would rather dip my bleep in battery acid. At 6:16, I then texted Bob, sorry, effing iPhone autocorrect that should have said, quote, I'm good.
Very good, exactly.
It was the Apple iPhone, man.
That's what it was. And you did the update, so it probably did.
And I did. And then I later texted him and said, I appreciate the updates because he kept updating me.
I did. I let him know.
Bradford White is here for the Pro, by the way. Bradford White Water Heaters. They are the sponsor of our 6 a.m. hour. And one of the stories of the day yesterday involved a story of the past. DeSean Jackson is going to retire as an Eagle. First off, I ask you guys, do you like these things? When guys go and then come back and sign the contract on the last day to retire as an Eagle, are you into that? It's gotten to me so overplayed that I really don't even pay attention to it. But DeSean Jackson, I do respect everything he did as an Eagle.
Yeah, I don't mind
the first time around.
Yeah, I don't mind him saying, look, I bounced around the league a little bit, but I always consider myself an Eagle. Then bringing him back, yeah, he was a phenomenal player. He was fun to watch. I don't mind it at all.
Did he always consider himself an Eagle, Pat, when he went to Washington?
Well, I'm sure he didn't want to leave.
No, he didn't. He was pissed off.
This doesn't surprise me that he, resonated with the Eagles franchise and wanted to come back. He kind of made that pitch when he came back the second time. It was pretty obvious he wanted to come back. So
and that was
I'm not surprised. This doesn't do anything for me. These one-day contracts and these honorary captains thing. It doesn't move the needle for me, but it does kind of alert you to the feelings of a good player, and what team you connected with the most. But
when you look at DeSean Jackson, what do you see? Like, do you look back at DeSean Jackson and say, I see one of the greatest players in franchise history? Numbers will tell you he was pretty amazing in what he did. I want to know what you see, because then I'll tell you what I see, because I want to know if we share it or if it's different.
How would I describe?
How do you describe DeSean Jackson's career as an Eagle?
Yeah, one of the most electric and best wide receivers that I've seen in an Eagles uniform in my lifetime. Yeah.
Pat?
One of the most electric players that I've seen in an Eagles uniform. That's the good of it.
That's the good of it. What else do you have?
I just never really resonated with me.
He didn't with me either.
But I didn't really care. Like, he gave me pretty damn good memories.
Correct.
So
you're torn a little bit. It's like you feel like you don't want to be critical of the guy, because DeSean Jackson was freaking amazing in a lot of ways. But I can tell you this, I'm glad he's not on this team. I'm glad that, like, if DeSean Jackson was playing in the modern era, I like the wide receivers we have now. I like the selflessness. I like the way that they approach the game. And I think that that's one of those things where you could appreciate someone's talents, and you could appreciate someone as he gave you so many moments. I remember that first touchdown. It might have been the first play of the game at Washington on Monday Night Football with Michael Vick. And it was just electric. To watch Vick and DeSean Jackson together was absolutely amazing. But I like the approach of an A.J. Brown, a Devontae Smith, a Mike Quick,
how was his approach? I don't really remember anything of him being...
I think he's very much about get me the ball, more of
A.J. Brown showed that a couple times this year.
Yeah, but they say he didn't. They said it was more. They said it was more of a discussion. Remember, they told us that.
I honestly don't remember DeSean Jackson ever being disruptive. I really don't.
No, not disruptive. I'm not saying disruptive. A me guy. I'm more of a me guy.
How? I don't remember any of that.
Really?
Like,
I don't.
When?
I think he absolutely was. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
In what way? On the field? Off the field?
On the field. And a little bit off the field too. A little bit off the field. But I think that was about. I like the quiet professionalism that you see out of the players on this Eagles team. I love this Eagles team. That we got nothing. We get nothing from this Eagles team for 2 years in a row. Of drama, me first.
I don't think. I'm not being. I really don't remember DeSean Jackson doing that.
Well, I think he.
I don't remember like the team being disrupted by him.
No, I never said disrupted.
Well, what point are you making? I don't know what you're making. Then I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, I'm saying it. I'll say it again. A very much look at me player is DeSean Jackson.
In what? That's what I'm saying. In what way?
Look at me, the showmanship, I like the professionalism and the approach that this entire Eagles team takes. This Eagles team is quiet. This Eagles team is not flash.
I'm just saying, I don't remember him not being quiet. I don't if you're talking like feigning in the end zone backwards. Okay, guys have their celebrations. I don't remember him. I don't know how you're wording it, but I don't remember that.
Okay, A.J. Brown doesn't have his celebrations. Right now, it doesn't. You don't see that out of Devontae Smith. They just this team is quiet, and I think that quiet teams that just go about their business. Emmitt Smith was an assassin, but I don't think Emmitt Smith was truly one of the greatest. Like if you're talking about greatest 3 running backs of all time, but I loved how Emmitt Smith would hand the ball. There was not the showmanship. I like quiet teams that don't do that, or quiet players that don't do that, because I think it adds to a professionalism that this Eagles team has.
But you like bat flipping
in baseball. Absolutely, don't have any problem with baseball having a little fun.
That's the same exact thing.
I don't believe that though in football.
Really?
I think no, I don't.
How's it not?
Because I think baseball is much more individual. It is much more individual of a guy going. You get to score.
Return a touchdown, punt for a touchdown.
You have 11. You have guys on the line of scrimmage that absolutely give the quarterback time to throw it to you.
Way.
I look at a baseball game as individual. Pat, when you see baseball, football, do you look at baseball as an individual sport? I look at football as a team sport. Baseball as an individual.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think the wide receiver position though is an individual position in a lot of ways.
It's always been a diva position.
But I mean, when DeSean Jackson was scoring touchdowns, I don't care. If he stripped down naked in the end zone. Because he was in the end zone with the football and the Eagles just got 6 points.
He did a lot of it too.
So I didn't care about it personally. Like I didn't resonate with I don't think I could have hung out with DeSean Jackson. I don't think we would have had a lot to talk about. But I didn't care what he did on the field as long as it was helping the Birds. And I think a lot of wide receivers need that diva-ish attitude. They need to.
You think it's part of what makes them great?
Yeah, I want my wide receivers demanding the football. I don't want the J.J. Arcega-Whitesides. No, man, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think
that guy's
he's
open over there. Throw to him.
I don't think DeSean Jackson's any different than the wide receivers on this team. I mean,
really?
You got choreographed dunks, LeBron James dunks between Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Oh, that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they have choreographed celebrations.
I think this is the quietest Eagles team ever.
I don't know what you mean by quiet, in all honesty. I don't.
We don't have any stories to talk about with the Eagles other than what's on the field. And I think that's beautiful.
I don't remember any with DeSean Jackson that were true.
Bob, he joined a gang.
No, I think that one wasn't true. I think that one wasn't true.
I read it on the internet, Bob.
It says, I'll go to 2019 because I went and read this before. This was a Jeff McClain piece. Has DeSean Jackson, the Eagles' prodigal receiver, changed his diva ways? That's the headline from 2019.
They're all divas. We've talked about A.J. Brown being a diva. I just don't know what the... I'm not being mean to you, John. I don't know what the point is here.
I think he never resonated with me.
Okay.
And that's the same thing Pat said. His style and everything is his own words. I was doing too much partying. I wasn't taking care of my body. I matured now. I'm a little bit different. Now he ended up injured was the first game?
Yeah, I think so.
When he came back?
Yeah, it was like the second quarter. Third. He scored a touchdown in the game, and then he was out.
He said cheetahs don't stretch and things like that. And
that's one of the greatest lines ever.
Cheetahs don't stretch.
I've used that before.
You do?
Oh, I don't stretch before.
Did you do that?
He said cheetah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
you're comparing yourself to a cheetah.
No. When I've played sports, and the guys are stretching before the game, I always make fun of them.
So it's
I pull the cheetahs don't stretch. When I see a lion stretch before he goes after a gazelle.
That is a great line, isn't it?
It is a great line. Cheetahs don't stretch.
Yeah, now look, I'm not a cheetah,
You used it with Jamie.
Oh, yeah, when we did the
You used it with Jamie.
race.
When you ran, you said cheetahs.
We're supposed to do this hypothetical, hey, if you're getting mauled by a bear, who wins? And he's over here stretching.
And Jamie,
ridiculous.
Jamie would have been lunch that day.
You can't stretch if Yogi the Bear's chasing you down, dude.
He would have been lunch. Did DeSean Jackson resonate with you? I mean, that's honest. I mean, did he resonate with you? It's like I look at him as a spectacular talent the first time around when he played for the Eagles. That's how I look at him. I don't feel the connection, the fondness. When I go out and see if it's Jimmy Rollins night or it's I don't know, give me another one. If it's someday
Jarvis Varnado.
No, Jason Kelsey night. When these guys come back and they're honorary captains, there's a connection. I didn't feel that connection.
I didn't feel it with him, but I don't feel it with Jalen Hurts.
You don't?
No, I don't think I could hang out with Jalen Hurts. I don't think I'd have a lot to talk to him about.
That's interesting.
Go
on this.
He's a robot. Every time you hear him on the podium, this is Chase Utley, same thing. I don't know if I could. Well, Chase Utley showed his personality a little bit more, but
you love the player.
Oh no, I love the players,
but didn't connect.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I was wrong about Jalen Hurts, but I don't resonate with him. I resonate more with Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey. Maybe Jalen Hurts has a personality that I just haven't seen yet. I'm sure it's in there, but I don't resonate with that dude at all. I don't know what we talk about if we met.
I'd like to know the Philly athlete that you resonate with and one that you didn't. And I really want to know about, too, is did you resonate with DeSean? But I look at DeSean Jackson as a great Eagle the first time around. Great Eagle, and I wish he'd never left. Like Shady McCoy. The Shady McCoy thing still drives me crazy to no end because I don't get it. But if that is the resonation, and does that matter to you at all? Does it matter to you that you resonate with the players on your team? If you want to join us, 610-632-0975. Get your Thursday morning started. John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic. I love the AACR, and I love the AACR.
Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
We'll be giving away Wawa gift cards all next week. $50 Wawa gift cards. For Pat, that's 6 visits. For Bob, that's how many visits? A $50 gift card to Wawa if you were to average out your visits.
If I'm not counting gas, that's probably about 5 visits, yeah.
I'm going like 7 or 8 on that.
I'm getting a
but it's
sandwich.
great, man.
I'm getting what do I like to drink? That apple, whatever drink it is. Get me a hoagie, a drink, and chips. Yeah, it's about $10.
You go the shorty?
Oh, yeah, I always go shorty.
You go shorty.
I don't like to leave anything left over,
You're
so I go shorty because I'm not a big, huge eater.
Pat, are you a shorty?
Why don't you take a call or something there, bud?
Ian in the Northeast joins us.
Good move.
On the Fanatic. How are you, Ian?
What's going on, fellas?
What are you up to,
What's
buddy?
up, Ian?
Just working. But
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm normally on your side with a lot of things.
Okay.
DeSean Jackson take, I'm not. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Do you connect with DeSean Jackson like you connect with? Tell me an Eagle you love other than DeSean.
So Randall is what.
Okay, Randall's
got me
amazing.
to football. But
Okay.
if you ask my kids, DeSean Jackson is the reason they love football.
See, I'm asking you though. Do you connect? Do you connect with DeSean the same way you connect with like a Randall Cunningham? Because I do not.
No, I don't. But I don't understand where your take on DeSean being a me first and all it is.
Well,
And you said that-
Tampa wanted him out of their locker room. The Eagles moved him on. I don't think he ever should have been moved on. In my opinion, I don't think he should have been moved. Much like Shady, I don't think he should have been moved on.
That was a Chip Kelly thing.
Yeah, exactly. But he literally bounced around and had some bad stops along the way where they were like, okay, let's get him going. Let's move him along.
Yeah, but
I don't want that. I don't want that player.
And I understand that, but
So you didn't want D. Jackson on your team?
No, it's the second time. No, once he was gone and he bounced Tampa, Washington, Tampa, I forget where else, and then he comes back. I did not want him to come back. And,
but if Chip Kelly never trades him, he doesn't even go to any of those places.
Oh, I agree. Well,
or never touch them. I said.
Yeah, we don't know what happens in that, but I can tell you this: there's a difference between great player in my organization and somebody that I just totally connect with, like Randall Cunningham. Oh my gosh, like Randall Cunningham is royalty, absolute royalty. Ron Jaworski, for his time from my childhood, is royalty, even though all I heard was my dad complaining about him. As a kid, there's royalty to it. And as Pat and I were saying earlier, and Pat, you're saying the honorary captains don't matter to you. Stuff like that doesn't matter to you.
What matters to me, though, is the fact that he could have retired, but he wanted to retire an Eagle. So I appreciate that. I'm somebody that gets annoyed when the national media goes off on how difficult it is to play here, and then you've got time and time again former athletes going, no, if I had to pick a team that I'm going to align with, it's going to be a Philadelphia team. So, and I'm not surprised about it because, as you mentioned, a lot of the stop-offs that he had he wasn't there very long.
Right.
But, yeah, I appreciate that. Like, personally, no, it doesn't do anything for me as a fan, but it just reiterates that, yeah, this place is pretty awesome if you embrace it.
And I think that's true too. Is that it's just the greatness of these players. Stephanie joins us. Stephanie, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great to hear from you, Steph. What's up?
John, I gotta agree with you in this DeSean Jackson's personality or whatever we're talking about here. I do obviously think that he's he's great. I mean, he was a great Eagle, and I'm happy to see him retire as an Eagle. However, I do think that he gave off this attitude that was kind of like, just nobody's better than me, and he just was not a representation of the kind of team that we have now. And
yeah, I think there's a difference.
A lot.
I think there's a difference just as teams. There's exciting teams. Bob, I'm sure you covered some. You covered a few really bad teams too. But like there are teams where there's the storyline every day coming out of the locker room. There was something going on around the team that created that, buzz or drama. This team's nothing. This team is on lockdown since the new coach arrived. When Nick Sirianni arrived, it's like they put steel windows up where no one can see in. totally different than when Doug Peterson was here, when everybody talked about the fact that there were leaks constantly coming out of NovaCare, players mouthing off, things like that. Nick Sirianni has his program on lockdown, and that to me is an amazing quality to be able to have.
Yeah, I just look at I know this sounds dribble and whatever, but there's personalities. I mean, there's 53 guys in a locker room. There's 20, 30 guys in a baseball. They're different personalities. You're not all going to be stepping in line, marching to the same tune, left, right. And I like that. I appreciate that. I like different personalities. I like DeSean Jackson's, antics on the field or whatever. It didn't hurt the team, in my opinion. Some of the craziest members of a team that I ever saw, or most outspoken, funniest, however you want to label it, were guys that maybe didn't even have a hand in wins and losses. There's personalities. That you have to live with that. Everybody's not going to be marching in line like, you're in the military and here we go. Let's march left, right to the next game. And I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to root for a team like that.
One of my friends says, but you were a big T.O. fan, John. Remember that? And I said, yeah. And what did it do? What did it do? What did it bring? It didn't bring championships.
Well, this team hasn't brought you a championship yet either.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I like this year of Eagles football a hell of a lot better than any year I've ever seen. Let's put it that way. Any than I've ever seen. The professionalism, the approach, the lack of drama. Some people like the drama. But my buddy's telling me, you like T.O. though. I said, yeah, but T.O. blew up the franchise. It didn't work. Jeff McClain, you can go read his piece about when he came back the second time about, look, you got to sometimes you got to change your ways. You got to go about things a little bit differently. It's hopefully the Eagles will have plenty of time to not have to worry about that because they don't have anybody on the team that's even caught, would create any kind of that or grab those headlines right now, including what Pat says though. Jalen Hurts is, you say he is robotic.
Yeah, I'm never going to get anything from a Jalen Hurts.
He doesn't say anything ever.
And when I see him, it's out and about. I don't get the sense that he's. I would really enjoy hanging out with him, and I don't think he'd enjoy hanging out with me.
Why?
I mean, you
too
guys
quiet?
don't. You guys don't.
Pat,
yeah, he's a little too quiet.
He'd come to PJ's.
But
you ask Jalen to the next PJ's happy hour.
I'll try.
Come on.
I feel like this is a lot of pro athletes. I feel like I'm not going to resonate with a lot of them. For me, it just comes down to are they good or not? A lot of times. But yeah, a lot of them I'm not going to resonate with. I just, to play devil's advocate, I'll pick like the best one in the city right now, which is him. I mean, I don't.
Do you resonate less with athletes today than you did before?
Yes and no. It depends. Like, and as I said, like when Chase Utley was playing, I didn't resonate with that.
I didn't resonate with him, but I loved cheering for him.
Keep head down and just go about. I was more boisterous and outspoken.
You're a Rollins guy,
and I was a Jimmy Rollins guy. Yeah,
you're also a big Howard guy, though, right?
Huge Howard guy. Yeah, I was telling Bob that backstory yesterday. I was boring him to death. But I mean, there's a lot of pro athletes I'm not gonna resonate with.
Was the story resonating with you yesterday, Bob? When he was telling you?
I acted like it was at the time. Yeah,
Bob is so good. And this is a credit to him. Bob is so good at looking. He's looking engaged in your conversation. And then afterwards, when you have like 20, 30 minutes later, you're like, why did I tell him that? He didn't care. But he'll give you the time, and that's why Bob is that guy.
I don't even remember the conversation that he's referring to, in all honesty.
There you go.
There's Joe in West Philly joining us. Joe, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Yo, you know what, man? I just remember DeSean Jackson being he one of the all-time, big-time players for us and things like that. I mean, he was a superstar when he was for the Eagles player. I think it was like if he played for the team now, it would be Kelly Green, DeSean jerseys, all in the crowd. I mean, he was that type of player. For his
Agree with that.
About what players resonate. And you know what? I remember watching the All-Star game in the 80s, and, I was a little kid into hip-hop and things like that. And they had Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and all of them get off a plane one day. And they asked them who they were listening to, and they walked, man. I thought they were going to say LL, some hip-hop group. They all said Luther Vandross. And then right at that moment, I said, wow, I don't resonate with these guys at all. I love Luther Vandross, but I just didn't imagine they were listening to Luther Vandross getting ready.
It shocks you because sometimes that's it, and that's who Jalen likes to listen to, too, one of the people he likes to listen to.
So Marvin Gaye,
Marvin
some
Gaye, Luther Vandross,
a little Anita,
Anita Hill, well,
and then we'll get this party
not
off right.
Anita Hill.
You know, and for me personally too, like, and I have to mention this: DeSean was the first homegrown great Eagles wide receiver that I witnessed in my lifetime.
That you witnessed.
You know,
Yes,
it wasn't
yes.
T.O. It
Right.
was, wow, they drafted this guy. And if you remember, he was, I think, the 7th wide receiver taken in that draft. You know, he was, and the only one you could make a case that was better than him was Jordy Nelson. Everybody else was a bust. So he fell to the Eagles. Not only did he fall to the Eagles, he was the Eagles' second round pick that year behind Trevor Laws. So he wasn't even the first choice by the team. He falls to him, and then it's like, oh, my God, this guy's really, really, really good. And it was something that I had not experienced in my lifetime of you know, the Todd Pinkstons and the Billy McMullins of the world.
Hey, Dredd, how are you, Dredd?
Hey, what's up with y'all, man? Listen, I'm going to tell you, though, I got a guy that I resonate with right now, and that's real. That's BG. But,
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, come on, man, double nickels. But with DJ, I love him too, because I was a little bit older, but he was my era, guys. And it was like him, McCoy, and Macklin. And I kind of know what you talk about, because they would hit the scene together, be out in the club scene or whatever that might be.
The personal fouls, the taunting penalties, the stuff like that. I don't think you're going to see I don't think you're going to see the Eagles wide receivers getting taunting penalties often, like that kind of stuff. It's just
they was a wild group of that era. At that time, they was great. They would have been killers too.
It was wild, Dredd. It was wild. It was a great and great players. I still think Shady McCoy not being here at the end, like for finishing his career.
Oh, I love that trade when
criminal.
it went down.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why is because I thought the lifespan of a linebacker would be longer than a running back.
Oh, okay.
I thought that Kiko would revert back to his rookie of the year.
Okay.
Kiko Alonso, where he had 140-something tackles. He never really did.
They've been fishing for wide receivers forever. I mean, for linebackers forever.
Yeah, Kiko Alonso didn't do anything.
I did not want Shady gone. Hey, quick, I want to get a couple more in here because I have an amazing stat for you coming up in 10 minutes that might make you think completely differently about this Eagles game and the Eagles secondary. Todd in Elkins Park. Todd, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, Todd.
I just don't want anybody to forget who DeSean Jackson really is. The guy that sat up on the 4th of July, America's best holiday, and put out anti-Semitic rants about Jews, okay? DeSean Jackson's not a great player.
Yeah.
DeSean Jackson was all about DeSean Jackson from day one.
But he was a great player.
He was a great player for himself. What did he really do here? Okay? That's one of the reasons why he got rid of him.
One of the best wide receivers ever play here.
Yeah.
He didn't have the culture, though. He was against, like, a lot of other players. He wasn't good for the team.
And how was he against other players? I don't have any recollection of that, in all honesty, Todd, but let me know.
Yeah, how was he against other players? He just wasn't part of the program, dude. He wasn't.
In what way? Like I hear what you're saying, but in what way? I honestly don't remember stories of there being uprise among the team with DeSean Jackson. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't.
I remember stuff that Chip Kelly was saying about him. So.
I'm not
Chip Kelly's side.
Chip Kelly said we got to take a
Yeah, can we end this conversation? Can we talk about Eagles and 49ers?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going anti-Semitic now and all that stuff. The guy's retiring an Eagle. Let's move on.
Okay.
I
got a great number for
Good.
you.
That's what I want to hear, John. I can't wait for your great number.
Villanova lost.
It was good. I got a great number for you on the Eagles defense that I absolutely was blown away by. And I believe that will be a stat that may make you feel differently about how Sunday's game's going to turn out. John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. And I'm sorry about that. Got to tell you that if you want the
It's okay.
best.
It's a dramatic pause.
It is. It's a
official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
We got a great deal of the week for you in the Fanatics Deal of the Week, which you can find at 975thefanatic.com. Keyword deal. This week only, you get 2 Bear Creek Mountain Resort weekday lift tickets for the price of 1. So it's $52. This is the old Doe Mountain. And Bear Creek Mountain Resort, from what I remember, that's fantastic. That is a great deal, too. So whether you buy them for yourself or as your holiday gift for somebody, Bear Creek offers skiers, snowboards, tons of winter fun. So check it on out, 975thefanatic.com, keyword deal. So as the Birds get ready for San Francisco this weekend, there's been a lot of talk about our secondary and how the secondary has been sort of shaky. And there's been, I believe, have we played with the same secondary twice?
I think last week may have been the first.
Second time?
Yeah.
Okay, so like one
it's
time.
either the first or second time.
But with the real secondary that you wanted, you know what I mean?
Well, it's amazing what has been able to come together with the cutting and pasting and this guy in this week, this guy in next week. Here's the amazing stat I saw yesterday, and I can't believe it's true, and it is. The Eagles are giving up the 3rd fewest yard after catch per reception in the NFL. The Eagles giving up the fewest yards after contact in the NFL. The Niners, by the way, lead the league in yards after contact and yards per play. I would have bet anything I owned saying that the Eagles, no way would they have been even good in these categories, let alone yesterday we were talking about their tackling. Again, 3rd fewest yards after catch per reception in the NFL at 4.37 yards. And the Eagles giving up the fewest yards after contact per game and per play in the NFL. I never would have thought that. And you watched every game, you've rewatched every game, and you say to yourself, man, that defense is a little shaky and everything. That's an amazing stat, and more importantly, it's an amazing stat to be good at, Bob.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to say it the other day when somebody brought up the Eagles tackling. Now, a couple games ago, it was really horrible. And when the guy brought it up yesterday about the Eagles tackling not being good, I remembered that game, and then I started thinking to myself, I didn't think it was all that bad against Buffalo. Buffalo completed a bunch of passes, but it seemed like they were pretty much down right after they caught the ball. McCaffrey has a lot to do with that stat, probably, John. He breaks a lot of tackles. He gets a lot of yards after contact. It's something you're going to have to keep an eye on. That's a scary, kind of a scary stat that you just brought up.
But
there.
it's great versus great then.
It is great versus great. You're right.
Now it's a question of which one. I can't believe, Pat. I don't believe it's that number's real and the NFL puts it out.
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel real.
Well, I think it's similar to me, like an NHL power play. I've used this analogy before, but if you ask every single fan base, is your power play good? They're going to tell you no.
They hate it.
And then it's like, yeah, but you have the best power play in the league. And it's one of those, you think it's probably worse than it actually is because you watch it and it's the missed tackle will jump out more than the open field tackle. And I think their open field tackle, and to the point of the stat, have actually been really good this year. But when you think about defense, the other game, like you're probably thinking about Reed Blankenship just whiffing open field to try to contain Josh Allen on that scramble run, and you don't think about maybe some of the open field stuff that they wrapped up, either wide receivers or running back stuff. Like they have been really, really good in that area.
But could this stat be skewed a bit? Like by wide open receivers that catch the ball and then go right out of bounds. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how many times I saw the other day along the sideline, it seemed, that a pass was completed, wide receivers right out of bounds. Steps right out.
Yeah, it doesn't speak to coverage at all. You're right.
No. It's not a coverage number.
No.
Well, and I guess you have to, like a lot of stats and analytics, you have to combine some stuff, right? So you have to combine like a coverage stat with the stat that you're talking about, and somewhere in the middle there in the Venn diagram, you're going to get your answer on how accurate it is. Because you're right. It seems like the out routes are abundant.
And they just run out of bounds. And that number, I'm like, okay, well, that would skew it because that was a reception and there were no yards after the catch because the guy just went out of bounds. It seems like a strategy against the Eagles right now that somebody is parked along a sideline just waiting to catch a ball and go out of bounds. You see it a lot, and you've seen it in the last few weeks. You see it, but you're playing good teams who can maybe exploit that.
Yeah, so the thing that's kind of surprising when you look at the Eagles part of this is the feeling was that their over-the-middle defense against the pass wasn't all that good. The linebackers, the safety play. Well, if you're completing balls over the middle, you think guys are on the run and going. Are they doing that good of a job of when they are allowing catches over the middle, getting right to them? I told you I thought Blankenship might be their best tackler on the team, maybe. Maybe they are. Maybe we're missing it. Maybe they're when people are catching the ball, they're so good at getting to the ball and surrounding it and getting guys on the ground as opposed to giving up more yardage. Or maybe there's a lot of outside passes, like you said, John, that teams are catching and just stepping out of bounds.
It's one of those things where I just don't understand. To me, sometimes when your eyes show you one thing, and then in today's day and age, I would say compared to when I started to watch football to then when I became a huge football fan, it seems like there's triple the stats now. There's triple the measurables that they never, ever had. And it makes me go, wait a minute, I just watched that game. I don't believe they're that good at that. But it says they are. That they're going to be they're going to tackle people, they're going to keep you from getting yards after the catch, and that is a San Francisco staple. Not only that, Debo can be really tough to bring down too.
Yeah, he's quick, he's fast. I get nervous a little bit for the Eagles when he goes into the backfield. Those type of things, those offsetting things, seem to hurt the Eagles an awful lot. So another thing you have to keep an eye on this weekend. Obviously, your focus is on McCaffrey when they're running the football, but he's that perfect change of pace guy. The way they use him in the running game is almost how I wish the Eagles would use a Kenny Gainwell. There he is, and boom, boom, 5 carries, 30 yards, and you're like, whoa. That was a blast that they threw back there. I kind of wish that's how they use Kenny Gainwell.
It didn't seem like they had any answer for him in the NFC title game either. In that game, remember, is till McCaffrey is, again, and he's getting banged up. That NFC title game, Christian McCaffrey just has he's got a quality to him, Pat, that would really be good. I still can't believe the Carolina Panthers ever got rid of him because he's an incredible player.
I mean, it's probably similar.
They're
to
worried about durability.
It's that in the argument that I made about Joel Embiid. Like, you're not going to win for couple of years there, and by the time you start to turn the corner in Carolina, he's probably on his way out or aging where he's not as effective. So you might as well trade him to get, as much value as you can for him. So I wasn't surprised that they did move on from him because they are in a rebuilding process. But he's one of the best, if not the best running back in the league. He's very versatile, and you definitely have to game plan for him. And, even in that NFC Championship game, he was one of the few 49ers made an impact.
15
he was dealing
carries.
With a serious calf injury, too, that he almost didn't play with. And he was still able to make an impact. And he's been about his money, and we talk about, for bets, the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, it always cashes.
McCaffrey?
No, like legitimately, the Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown, it hasn't cashed. it cashed all but one time this year. I'll throw it in every parlay I have, usually.
Just to have
just to have an extra leg to pump up the odds.
Not Sunday.
No, I won't do it Sunday.
Don't.
I'll never do a parlay and include guys the Eagles are facing. I don't want to cheer for them.
15 carries, 84 yards in the NFC title game. 5.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Receiving 4 receptions for 22 yards, 5.5 yards a reception. He was good. Every time he touched the ball, he was good for 5.5 yards. He's the one they had no answer for. Kittle did nothing. Kittle was a non-factor. They held him to nothing, pretty much. Brandon Ayuk, nothing. Deebo Samuel, receiving 3 catches for 33 yards. Now, of course, then they knock out the quarterback and everything, and all hell breaks loose. But overall, Christian McCaffrey's he's a freaking beast. And that's what's going to be the Saturday night, facing him. Much more to me than Brock Purdy. Like people are talking about Brock Purdy and how he'll chew people up. I'm like, I I'm just not seeing it. I don't believe he's going to do that.
I think that's why the run game, like the guys in the middle there with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are so key, because I feel like their offense opens up with Christian McCaffrey. And if you stop Christian McCaffrey and you basically dictate that they have to throw the football, you're in a much, much better spot. But if they start mixing it up, Christian McCaffrey has early success, you might be in for a long day. So that's why I feel like your keys are Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in this one.
Yeah, I really think in order to have success, they're going to have to shut down McCaffrey early. It's going to have to be San Fran getting frustrated with their running game. I do. I think that is the biggest thing for the Eagles defense this weekend, is to not allow. You can't have a good passing game. Oh, yeah, and by the way, they're running all over us, too. Nah, take away that run game, and I think you could live with whatever passing game Brock Purdy puts up against you.
Okay, possessions per game, too. I mean, that's one of the things that keeping them down. When teams have beaten San Francisco, they've kept the ball out of their hands. Cleveland did a really good job at it. Minnesota did a good job at it. I don't care who they were missing. You're missing one of your wide receivers, and your team shuts down to 17 points a game. You become a team, and that's what San Francisco did. And they're like, well, we were beaten up during the 3-game losing streak. Bull crap. I mean, compared to other teams in the NFL, you lose to the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. And I absolutely would say there is zero chance. And I don't care if Lane Johnson misses one game and somebody else misses another. There is zero chance the 2023 Eagles could lose to the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals in consecutive weeks. They're not losing 3 games in a row.
Well,
so I don't want to hear the excuses about, San Francisco, we were a little beaten up then. I don't want to hear it.
Well, like who? And I have to go back. I know Debo was out.
Okay.
Brock Purdy was dealing with a concussion, right?
No, Brock Purdy got a concussion no, he didn't miss a game. He played all 3.
I thought he missed a game.
No.
Okay.
He played in all 3.
He was a little banged up.
He got banged up at the end of the Browns game, I believe it was.
Here's my thing. Could the Eagles win 3 games in a row if Jalen Hurts was dealing with, which he is, by the way. You know, he's dealing with the knee. We know that. With that,
and
then
one
you've
guy
got
was
Jordan Mailata, because Trent Williams was out.
Right.
So you've got Jalen Hurts banged up, Jordan Mailata out, and A.J. Brown out, because that's kind of the equivalent of what they were dealing with.
I don't think they'd lose 3 in a row. To the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals? No.
I mean, I tend to agree
I don't believe that would happen. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you.
They're a good – the Eagles are just so consistent that they wouldn't – I don't believe they'd let that happen. That would be a thing that they would fall apart. They may – there's a chance they could go 1-2. There's a chance that they could have lost one of those games in bad fashion, whatever. But this is a formidable bunch. I think they're the best team in the NFL next to the Eagles. San Fran that's coming in here.
I think so, too. I do. We've seen what the Chiefs are all about. They have some deficiencies offensively. They're very good defensively, but it's weird to say with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. But we saw what their receivers are. This San Francisco team, when you put it down on paper, when you see it play, I'm anxious for this game because, I do think this is probably the best all-around team the Eagles will face this season.
If you overlay the Eagles' defense and the 49ers' defense, if anybody's being honest, I think they'd take the 49ers' defense. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
If you overlay the top 11 depth chart, you would take the 49ers' defense. But I'm taking the Eagles' offense all day long. And that's the question I've got really for you is if this game's going to be won on Sunday against the 49ers, is it being won with offense or defense? Is it the Eagles' offense leading the way? And honestly, in the NFC title game, I don't know who to credit. Because did the defense win that game or did the offense win that game? You put up 31.
Defense.
So you look at his defense. I lean Pat like 52-48 on that one. Because I'm looking at the 49ers defense going into that game last year. And remember, the 49ers defense was supposed to be just as good as the Eagles.
Yeah.
And they trounced them.
They did. I mean, I feel like when Brock Purdy goes out with that injury, and then Josh Johnson, is getting sacked left and right.
You think somebody, but on defense, you think they
I think they all kind of were like, all right, this isn't going to be our day. Yeah, I think that's a natural reaction.
What is it, a sag you're talking about? Like there's a...
I think that the frothing at the mouth that you probably had to start the game went by the wayside. I mean, you guys, we've talked about the NFC Championship game against Carolina.
Oh, it was terrible.
Donovan
game.
gets knocked out, and it's
Coy
like,
came in.
okay,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
how do you win this one? You know, and it's a deflating moment.
But
And it's a deflating moment for the fan base, but it's got to be a deflating moment for the team as well because you're only human. You know why this guy's starting, and you know why that guy isn't. So,
but the Eagles' defense that game played a great game against Carolina,
Yeah.
and the Eagles' offense just did nothing. I mean,
That's
absolutely nothing. It was like 14. Was it 14-6?
It was
That title
very,
game,
very
it was
low
really
scoring.
weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird game.
Yeah, I love the question that you pose here that talking about defenses versus defense, offense versus offense. I agree with you when you look at San Francisco. I would say that their defense is better than the Eagles. Is the Eagles' offense more better than San Francisco's offense? Than San Francisco defense is more better than the Eagles' defense? You know what I mean?
I don't believe so.
I'm not wording that well, but
no,
you
but
understand what I'm saying.
I sort of found that out. I looked in between the between the lines there. I think it's fairly even. Like the distance that I would take the Eagles' offense over theirs involves the offensive line for the most part. That's the difference, the offensive line. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I love the linebacker play out of San Francisco that I think the Eagles have not had, honestly, for a couple decades. They've never been able to figure out a linebacker.
No.
Or as they say, they just devalue it.
See, I think San Fran's defense, the gap between San Fran defense and Eagles defense is bigger than the gap between the Eagles offense and San Fran
I think
offense.
that's fair.
I think the offense of San Fran is on par with the Eagles. I wouldn't say as good, but I think they're just about on par.
610-632-0975. You heard it there. If the game, look, we all want the game to be a win on Sunday. Is it going to be led? Is it going to be led by the defense? Pat, is there a chance where you could say the offense won the NFC title game, but the defense sort of like
you could say the offense won the game, but the defense made the most impact. When you knock out a
two
opposing
quarterbacks,
quarterback, and then you knock out his backup, and you have to have the first one come in and just hand the ball off. I don't know about you guys, but when Brock Purdy got knocked out of that game, I went, all right, we're going to the Super Bowl.
That's how I felt.
But it was a little nerve-wracking before that because I believe the Christian McCaffrey
7-7?
touchdown, tied it up. So, it wasn't I thought the Eagles would win that game. I was the anyone can get it guy. And I still believe that. But when Brock Purdy goes out of that game, it's, okay, they ain't winning with Josh Johnson. This is a joke.
Are you saying it with your chest? Last year,
game?
you were completely chesty on the.
Yeah, last year was.
So
fun.
this week, when you say the same words, are you saying it with the same fervor?
No, last year it was a little more enthusiasm and gusto when I would say anyone can get it. This year it's more of a quiet whisper.
Is it a careless whisper?
It's a finger cut saying "come here," as opposed to chesting it out.
Anyone can get it.
I think careless whisper. It could end up being. It could very well.
I was asked this question last night. I think the Eagles are going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than the NFC Championship game. But I think they'll win the game. But I think our anxiety level will, be very typical for an Eagles game.
It was a weird statistical game last year in that NFC Championship. Here's what you had: 15 for 25 for 121.
Who's that?
Jalen Hurts. No touchdowns, no interceptions.
Well, and I knew he didn't throw for 200, but he threw for 125. 121.
You didn't have a rusher for the Eagles get more than 48 yards.
Then how were they scoring
Kenny Gainwell
points?
was your biggest rusher, 14 for 48, 3.4 yards average. The Eagles rushed 44 times for 148 yards, only 3.4 a carry, but they stuck with it. Devontae Smith was your leading receiver, 2 catches, 36 yards.
Okay, that's wild.
It was a turnover game. It was a short field game. It was a weird game.
37 minutes of time of possession. 37 and a half for the Eagles, 22 and a half for San Fran.
How about that? There you go. That's probably your best.
And I want to see that again Sunday. Now, you're never going to be able to get that number. But can you get it to 35? Can you get it to 35? So I want to see. Let's see if Matt in Center City has to say. Matt, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
What's going on?
Hi, Matt. What's up, buddy?
This year doesn't feel the same as last year. I just, you're not concerned that we're pulling out games by playing horrible for 3 quarters and then having to come back, let alone, like, we probably shouldn't have won the Bills game short of their field goal kicker missing 2 field goals and a horse collar.
Whoa. Their field goal kicker missed 1. His other was blocked.
2.
No, he was blocked.
Okay, all right, that's great, but you can't just depend on a blocked field goal, okay? Like,
no, but it's important how you. Matt, chill. Matt, chill, dude. He blocked the field goal. It's a play that the Eagles made. It's not something that Buffalo missed. It's something that the Eagles did good.
I get it, but you realize that there was a horse collar that was called that wasn't called, and then an actual intentional grounding that shouldn't have been called when the Bills were on the 3, which probably would have iced the game. Hence, if he would have even just made that 1 field goal that he should have, which wasn't.
So how long you been a Bills fan?
I'm not a Bills fan. I'm just trying.
Matt, in all seriousness, are you an Eagles fan?
Matt, you're not an Eagles fan.
Well,
I am, but let me just go through. Okay, so the Bills game. The Chiefs.
No. I don't want to go through. I don't want to go through everything that your list of grievances. It's not. It isn't.
It's not my grievances. It's just. Does this year seem the same to you as last year?
No.
We're barely beating bad teams. We lost to the Jets. We can barely get by the Commanders in both games.
Matt, how about this then? Matt,
it's
again.
not all doom and gloom, man. There's
Matt,
a lot of good going on.
How the 49ers have already lost to Cleveland, Minnesota. I mean, seriously, are you kidding me? And a third loss. So, again, and the Eagles have the best record in the NFL versus winning teams, and they haven't lost to one.
Give me something you're happy about, Matt.
Come on, Matt. Tell us about your Eagles fan.
I understand, but you realize that our luck is going to run out at some point.
Well, their luck does.
I tried to tell you all the instances where the luck went into our favor. The ball bounced our way, but it's not going to happen that way the whole season.
Okay, and if it doesn't, right?
The second round of the playoffs.
If it happens all season, then what? If they win the Super Bowl, then what? Will you be happy or will you be pissed?
I'll be ecstatic.
Okay, really, you don't sound
happy.
Then we'll hug it out.
Tell me about the San Francisco losses.
What do you want to know about them?
Yeah, tell me about San Francisco's losses. Tell me about them.
I mean, a lot of times when teams go through trials and tribulations, it actually makes them better.
See, so it's better. So you're saying it's better. You would rather be 8-3 than 10-1. Finding ways to win is actually worse than going through the trials and tribulations of being 8-3.
I mean, listen. Take a look at the Vikings last year, all right? And also, I think the Eagles.
What do you mean? Take a look at the Vikings last year. What are you talking about?
For a 10-1 team, I think the Eagles have literally in the history of football the smallest margin of.
They have the third smallest, but you're right. But the Vikings last year weren't the defending NFC champions. They were. They didn't have any kind of pedigree. This team does.
I get it, but Jalen Hurts has been a turnover machine this year. He's just not played as well as he has last year.
There ain't no way.
Matt, you're not an Eagles fan.
Still the MVP.
Matt's not an Eagles fan.
Look, I have a question. I'm honestly asking this. Okay, maybe I'm ignorant to the rule. I was under the impression that a horse collar, you have to get your hand in the uniform, and in the shoulder pads, and drag the guy down.
Pat, the review came yesterday. You're right.
Yeah, because if the review is pretty clear, his hand was on the back of the shoulder pad, but his hand never got
inside the neck,
inside the uniform. And I'm sitting there listening to Tony Romo just begging for a horse collar call the entire game. I think he's still sitting there in his Skechers going, well, I'll tell you what, Jim, it was a horse collar they got away with. And the replay clearly shows that his hand was on the back of the jersey. It was on the back of the pads, but it just guided him down. But it never got inside the uniform. Now, if I'm wrong on that rule, fine.
The NFL review where they send out the little
the breakdown.
It's out there yesterday that was not a horse collar.
Okay,
it was not. You were right.
I feel better.
You were correct. And I got to tell you, I thought it was.
I was surprised it wasn't called. In all honesty, in the moment, I was surprised it wasn't called.
It wasn't called. I agree with you on that. I agree.
But you were correct. It wasn't a horse collar.
In real time, it looked like
I thought it was horse collar.
And then they slow the replay down. I'm like, oh, his hand never got in the uniform. That's not a horse collar.
7 a.m. hour brought to you by the all-new Bet Parks app. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Now, it's funny as Tony believes that was a Giants fan.
Well, Matt's called before because he's made the same case that this Eagles team is the Vikings from last year.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so ridiculous. Because that is absolutely ridiculous. That is so absurd.
The Vikings didn't have the MVP favorite, and I understand that Jalen Hurts isn't playing up to the level that he did last year.
And they weren't the defending NFC champs.
Yeah, they weren't that, and Kirk Cousins was not the MVP favorite in Week 12.
He wasn't? Oh, my God.
Shocking.
Hey, Dustin's going to join us. We'll get you into 610-632-0975. If the offense or defense leads – okay, if I told you the offense was going to be the better unit on Sunday, do you think they win or lose? If the defense is going to be the better unit, do you think they win or lose? It's offense versus defense in this matchup. We'll talk about it next. 610-632-0975, John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic. Again, the Bet Parks app, you're going to want it for this weekend. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Think of all that you've got going on this weekend. College, championship games in conferences. That's always a great, great day. Is Georgia going to close?
Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Thursday morning hopefully is going great. We are approaching, 72 hours or so till the Eagles take on the 49ers this afternoon. We'll get to that. They're saying now showers will be about on Sunday. It's not going to be like the Bills game, but there is a chance we're going to get wet at the game on Sunday afternoon. But the tailgate will not be wet with Philly Sports Trips.
Oh,
except for the cocktails.
Always dry.
Except for the cocktails.
I mean,
Yeah.
your whistle will be wet.
You might be lubed a little bit, but you're not going to be
All right,
wet.
now it's getting weird.
Pat, that's a really old saying.
Well, I like to cater to the younger demo a lot, so I decided to cater to the old pop-ups.
When you say wet your whistle, how do you spell wet?
W-E-T?
H-E-T, right?
H-E-T. Very good, John. That's why he's a professor and you're not.
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah, 1 to 4. We're going to be at Philly Live.
That was the test.
Me, Andrew,
we
and
see
Pat.
you're qualified, but can you spell wet?
Check it out on phillysportstrips.com. It is a great time. It's funny. Who was it? Yes, I was talking to somebody, and they said that they might. Yeah, a guy you used to work with. He goes, you know what? I'm thinking of coming to that tailgate. It just sounds like so much fun. You don't have to clean up, don't have to do anything. Just walk to the game afterwards. So, yeah, come on down. Check it out on phillysportstrips.com.
We made the decision to, since it's our dad-daughter game, and thank you very much to my doctors for getting me, Dr. Sprandio Jr., giving me the opportunity to get down there on Sunday. With a clean bill of health. But I'm going to bundle up. But I told my daughter, I said, I'm going to, instead of picking her up at Temple and driving down, Pat, we're going to just park the car at Temple and then take the subway to the game and then take the subway back.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And not have to sit in that lot for an hour and a half afterwards.
It's so much easier.
Cursing, because she's as bad in traffic as I am. So
what gets like fidgety?
Terrible fidgety.
I get the same.
I get terrible anxiety in there.
I had that on 76 the other day. I was driving back from the city late at night. They decided to close 2 out of the 3 lanes on 76.
Oh, that's always good.
And
yeah, it's always.
I
good.
can't tell you
That's
why.
it. No, we don't know. Still,
some of my worst temper comes out in traffic.
I hate it.
Me too.
It's not good.
I don't like who I
don't
become.
like myself. Yeah.
The offense, defense on Sunday. Is offense leading the way to victory or is defense leading the way to victory? 610-632-0975. Dustin's with us. Dustin, good morning. You're on the Fanatic.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing pretty good until I heard the last caller. I had to call up.
You don't believe him, do you? That's not an Eagles fan.
He's a horse's ass. That's what he is.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Donates to dog
I'm
charities.
sure he's a nice guy.
He could be a great guy. His sports tactics and his sports analysis.
Pretty bad, eh?
Absolutely bad. It is horrible.
I
mean, I don't understand how you could say that this team's better. It all starts with the most important position out of any sport ever, your quarterback. Our quarterback is hands down far more superior than their quarterback.
I think I will give you, I'll tell you this, I'll give you the quarterback edge, Dustin. Absolutely. Far more superior. I think you're selling Purdy a little short. A little short.
I mean, well, think about it this way. What if you were to put the best running back in the league behind the Eagles right now?
We have the third best, and really he's like 1 yard from being he's fourth best. Excuse me. He's 1 yard from being third best. He's 15 yards from being second best. We've got our guy. We don't use him the way they do. We don't use DeAndre Swift the way they do. They use McCaffrey.
You're absolutely right, but like the other thing he was saying, like we beat up on bad teams. First of all, we beat the Vikings this year. The Vikings beat the 49ers.
And they beat, we beat them with Kirk Cousins too.
And a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but like the Eagles don't get respected the way they should, the way we see them, because we watch all 60 minutes every Sunday. But if you go back and look at the Patriots dynasty and when they were unbelievable and the best team of all time, they weren't absolutely killing people. They had a lot of games that were 7-point, 3-point, 2-point. They weren't all blowouts. Nobody cares how you win the game. You can win the game as ugly as you want. The most important part is winning the game. And that's what this team does. Whether people like it or not, they can hate us as much as they want. We have a winning quarterback and a winning coach.
And undefeated against winning teams, and that is the best record in the NFL.
Yeah, you know what's fun about all this is that we're talking about how do we truly feel about the Eagles. We know they're 10-1, but there's a lot of buts after that. I would say this. When Buffalo kicked the field goal in overtime, and the Eagles were about to get the ball, how did you truly feel? Because if you can remember that feeling, I think that would be probably a microcosm of how you feel about this team as a whole.
And that's exactly, we've talked about it.
I felt they were going to win the game.
I thought they were going to win the game the minute they held them to a field goal.
Yeah, me too.
That was it. The minute it was held to a field goal, I'm like, okay.
So I think that's fair enough to say at that point, all right, that's how I truly feel about the Eagles. That somehow they're going to win games.
And I do think you're not going to get well, let's put it this way. You're not going to get as much cooperation from the 49ers as you get from the Bills. The Bills are a 6-6 team for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's a huge point that you bring up, because I do think our preconceived notion about the Bills being one of the favorites for the AFC, we do forget they're having a bad season. But I think, to the caller Matt, I think it's just that's ingrained in us, that attitude, because we're just not used to being in this situation as a Philly sports fan, that we're always waiting for the shoe to drop.
I've never seen anything like this, Pat, as far as like you've lived in a brighter time as an Eagles fan your entire life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I will find myself sometimes, though, saying, don't be your dad.
But
my dad lived through crap with the Eagles.
Like, we listen to Matt, and I mean, I don't want to put like words in it, but it's he kind of sounds scared for, like, he doesn't want to buy into this for fear that it's going to be, Eagles and Bucks in 2002, and then Eagles and Carolina, and Eagles and the Rams, and then Eagles and Cardinals NFC Championship games, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna do it. They don't do it. It's like you don't want to buy in so much because you want to point out all the things that will keep them from doing it, that when they finally do end up getting over the hump and winning a championship, were you even able to enjoy the ride because you were too busy nitpicking?
I can't imagine that.
But I think there are people like him.
That.
There are people, a lot of them, and it's built on like this PTSD from the Andy Reid era of getting close and then ultimately coming up short.
I know that Bob's confidence, I will say this, your confidence in this game, though, Bob, you think it's the best that you've felt all year?
It pretty much is.
That's
if they're playing
to me.
a bad team, you're going to have confidence. But the confidence of a good game, I think, is different. Like you know it, John. If you were coaching a hockey team and you're playing an 0-16 team and you guys are one of the best in the league,
yes,
obviously all the confidence is there. But it's different than when you're going against like maybe the next best team.
Yes.
And you have confidence. It's a different type of confidence. That's what I have for Sunday. A different type of confidence. I do. I remember saying when they came back from the break against the Chiefs, I felt terrific. I thought the bye came at a perfect time. I thought everybody could get healthy. I thought they were going to go in there and beat the Chiefs and all that. I have a similar feeling for this week, but even better because I think the Eagles are going to play better than they did against the Chiefs.
Even with all the rest advantage and...
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a close game. There's no
yeah.
doubt in my mind it's going to be a close game, and probably everybody agrees. But I do. I feel like this will be the best game the Eagles play this year. I have that kind of confidence.
I love that confidence. I just wonder what are you basing it on the last 2 years that you know that they can show up with an A game when they need to? That they can show up and make plays? Because you don't think it's going to be an A game, do you?
I think it's going to be as close to an A game as they've come this year. I'll say that. Yeah, if it isn't
that's
an A game.
wild to me.
Yeah, I watching that second half the other night, I don't know what it was. I think some things really clicked offensively. I think Brian Johnson really figured things out in the second half. I do. I think this will be their best performance of the season.
Pat, are you in any way in line with that? I got to tell you, I think they're going to squeak one out. But
I lean towards that.
Like a 24-20 type of thing is what I'm guessing towards.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up putting 30 up. Because their offense is explosive. They have the pieces. But I tend to lean towards it's going to be a close game, and the anxiety is going to be there towards the end. But ultimately, like a lot of these Eagles games have gone, it's going to go in their way.
Yeah, I mean...
And if the game is out in San Francisco, I probably would pick the 49ers.
I would pick the 49ers if this game was being played in San Fran.
I kind of like the Eagles if it was being played in really good weather.
Really?
I do. I think a fast track would benefit the Eagles.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know if you guys do this, but I do. There's just some elements that go into my head that make me think, yeah, they're going to play a good game. Going out west in good weather, I just always think the Eagles are going to play a good game. Going out west in good weather.
Beat the Rams, and I'm going that's
back,
sort of a dome.
Yeah, I'm going back to when I was a kid. They would go play the Raiders sometimes.
That San Fran game when
San Fran.
Is that Charlie Garner?
Charlie Garner had like a 2-touchdown game.
They won 40-7. And Pat, we beat the San Francisco 49ers 40-7 in a game with Charlie Garner.
Of course.
And I think every single one of us thought they were going to win the Super Bowl that year. It was like, at that point, one regular season game set the town off on its ear like, oh my gosh, they just blew out the 49ers. It's incredible. And I think that is. The PTSD you talk about, Pat, is real. It's absolutely real.
I remember during the Super Bowl run, and I think it's gone away a little bit after the Super Bowl back in 2018, but there are still a lot of fans that will point out all the things that will keep you from winning. And as Bob loves to mention, there's 31 teams that are going to be disappointed at the end of the year. And there's going to be one fan base that's happy. So I'm going to try to enjoy the ride, enjoy the fact that they're 10-1 and that everybody else is 8-3, and remind myself that if the Eagles were 8-3, I'd still be in a really good mood. Why would I sit there and like focus on all the things that they haven't done right? Yeah, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to remind myself, man, it could be a lot worse. Like, they're in a really, really good spot. They're 2 games up.
Listen to what you just said. They're 10-1, but it could be a lot worse.
Oh, well,
I mean, it's like, but the thing is, that plays to it, though.
They could be 10-1, but I think we don't view it as a lot of times 10-1, and it's like, well, they could be 6-6, they could be 7-5, they could be 8-3. They're 10-1. Like, you gotta.
I don't understand the negative Nancy's.
I
really
literally
don't.
had a dream about this the other night. And I swear to God, and I have such weird dreams, I don't know. I had a dream.
The bath salts you take.
No, that we were outside in the parking lot, and we were listeners were coming in to say hello, and we were all carrying signs that said Eagles are 10-1. But we were also talking about what we didn't like about the 10-1 team.
Right.
That's all it was. And people were coming and, about to come and talk to us, and I woke up. I guess it goes to me always saying the headline is 10-1, but the everything under that umbrella isn't all positive. 10-1 is hold the sign up, but you can also talk about, well, I don't like the way they're using this. I don't like the way they're doing that. Why don't they do this more? Why don't they do that? That's kind of what I think Pat was just saying.
Are we to blame?
No, I think it's probably
because I think we are absolutely skew positive.
Are you talking the media to blame?
Yes, but I think us as a show, we tend to find, okay, we will point out the night and we'll talk about them, but it's overall is the 10-1 headline is the 10-1 headline.
Yeah, I do think we are to blame, but I think it's the society that we live in the sense, and I talked about it a little earlier, the open field tackle stuff. You don't think about all the open field tackles that were made. The stuff that really sticks out to you is the one that missed. So when we come on, and let's say it's a Tuesday, because Monday, I'm so reactive on a Monday that it's not even funny. But on a Tuesday, when we come on and we try to be level-headed, the good stuff that we bring up might not be as loud to a listener as the negative. And that's maybe all they end up hearing is negative. When in reality, if you took a step back, it's like, no, there was objective. We were trying to do both sides of it. So I think we are to blame, but I think it's probably a listening pattern in our society.
I find it unnerving that Bob's so confident about this game because
thank you, Bob.
Because I like the Miami game. I felt the same way. I was like, they're beating Miami. I'm not worried about Miami. And I felt good about the Bills game, but I was apprehensive about it. That I thought, and we did the show last week, and I was like, I think this is going to be an ugly, just escape win, and it ended up being that way. I don't have the same Miami chesty feel about the 49ers because I respect the 49ers a hell of a lot more than I do Miami. So it's weird is I'm putting too much into the opponent and maybe not enough into our own boys and what they're doing. Like I'm not.
That's interesting.
I have such respect for the 49ers, and I have little respect for what Miami's doing.
Is that similar to us looking at the bad on a 10-1 team? You looking at the opponent?
It's similar. I think it's going to be such more. I will walk away from them beating the 49ers so much more than I walk away from them beating Miami. Like 10 times more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, if they beat the 49ers, there is no, like, to me, well, first off, it wraps up the NFC. You can do the math yourself. There's not going to, nobody's going to beat them out in the NFC. So I already know they got the 2-game scenario. So then, if Nick Sirianni takes care of business, let's say they beat Dallas or they lose to Dallas, beat Seattle, then beat the Giants on Christmas, they're home free to be able to give some guys some rest. I think it plays so well. I'll walk out of that building almost with a tear in my eye on Sunday night going, okay, they're going to the Super Bowl. I'll have that confidence.
Did we underplay that they went into Kansas City and won that game?
A little bit.
Because I think before the season started, if we were to look at the schedule, what was the
loss
less likable win?
Oh, that was absolutely.
Home against the Niners or at Kansas City?
Kansas City loss. In my mind, that was a loss. That was a game that, okay, there's going to be games where you don't play great.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a loss. But it's unbelievable. Hey, Sean in Levittown joins us. Sean, good morning. You're on The Fanatic.
How you doing, guys?
Great to hear from you, Sean.
Good to talk to you. Yeah, I think the offense is going to be the one that carries us this week. I really saw a lot of improvements to me in the second half of the Bills game that made me feel a little bit more confident in the offense.
What were they? What were the things that you saw that you really liked?
I'd definitely like to see when Hurts was actually able to move around a little bit more than he was recently. Picking up those nice gains, and obviously that walk-off touchdown was really nice to see, that quarterback draw. I think we can agree that if Hurts is able to move around and use his legs more, I think that helps our offense out dramatically. It opens up our passing game and everything like that. I do want to say, can I give a key to the offense and defense if possible?
Why not?
I will say, on top of that, I do want to say that Hurts moving around, I think that'll help out a lot. Hopefully that knee is getting better. It looks better to me. But also I want to say on the defensive side, I want to see that front be able to pressure Brock Purdy because I want to see him be able to make mistakes. I think the big thing for us, I think, is going to be turnovers.
I think he's going to make it. I guarantee. I'm going to bet on my Bet Parks app the over half an interception for Brock Purdy. Guaranteed.
I can see that. I definitely that, and trying to contain Christian McCaffrey as much as possible. He is a beast.
He is.
But I think if we can create pressure in Purdy's face, win the turnover margin, I think our offense is going to be able to capitalize on those short field advantages and help us win.
I like it. I like how you're thinking.
Through these marvelous 2 seasons that we've been going through, 14-3 last year, 2-1 in the playoffs, 10-1 so far this year. The one thing that the Eagles did against Buffalo is something that they've rarely, if ever, done during that span.
What's that?
They scored when they had to.
Think under the pressure of, yes.
Well, you had to score. You had to score a touchdown to win that game, and they went and did it. Is there another time over this run that we can say that? I don't think so. They've won games, they've come from behind, all that, but not had to score. You know what I mean? They were going to get 6 possessions in the second half against the Chiefs. They scored 2 out of them and wound up outscoring Chiefs 14-0 to win the game. But they had to score in that last possession against Buffalo. You had to go down and score a touchdown to win that game. I wonder if that's going to elevate this offense now also, and Brian Johnson, elevate this offense to a new place going into this 49ers game.
How much do you believe in yards per game as a defense? The Eagles' defense considered to be not as good as the 49ers. The 49ers give up 3 less rushing yards a game, and they give up 43 less passing yards a game. The difference in the two teams in yardage allowed defensively per game is 46. That doesn't seem like anything to me. Doesn't 46 yards a game, but everybody it doesn't seem the same to me. That number is okay, those two teams are pretty even. 40 yards, but I guess that can be the difference between a winning field goal or not, or something like that in the game. But when you're 10-1, does it even matter? 610-632-0975. Pat believes somebody may be getting a pass. Is it him? We'll find out. John Kincade Show, 97.5, The Fanatic.
In Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5, The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
We're going to find out who Pat thinks is getting a pass potentially. Coming up, John Kincade Show. By the way, we'll be at David Dodge tomorrow. David Auto. You can find it on the web. You can find us right down there in Glen Mills. Udelco, folks, it's really easy right off. We get off of Route 1, really simple. If you are a Chester County person, it's very simple. David Auto tomorrow morning for their childhood toy drive, too, at Christmas. They want you to adopt a kid, and there's going to be lots of people out there that are going to be doing that tomorrow. And we look forward to you be taking a part in that. If you go to David Auto, you go right on drivedavid.com. Go to drivedavid.com. You can donate via PayPal, and they'll even do the shopping for you. It's a great cause, and we'll be out there tomorrow morning.
And we got some things to give away tomorrow, John,
we do?
too.
What?
I got us 5 pairs of tickets to the Big 5 Classic.
I think
at the Wells Fargo Center.
Stacy's coming in here today and getting you.
No.
I mean, you're going into that prize closet every week.
Well, it was a different one, so she didn't even know it was there. Yeah, I actually unhinged another door and got them. So, yeah, we're going to be joined by Stevie Donahue, head coach of Penn, who will be playing LaSalle tomorrow. Whatever team you like, whatever Big 5 school you have an affiliation with, isn't this great? You can go down there and in one day see that team. All 6 teams in the area are playing down at the Wells Fargo Center tomorrow. So we have 5 pairs of tickets that we're going to give away tomorrow.
And I understand a couple of Santa's elves maybe joining the show tomorrow. Rather large gentlemen. So stay tuned for that. Plus, Rob Stats Guerrero from covers the 49ers. He will join us tomorrow, too. Get us set for that matchup. Looking forward to it on Sunday. And the weather forecast, as I said, looking a little bit better. So, happy St. Andrew's Day to you, by the way. That's one of your goals, to play St. Andrews.
Yeah, why is today's St. Andrew's Day?
Today's his feast day, St. Andrew.
Oh, what was St. Andrews so good at?
I wish my godson, Andrew Amicone, a happy St. Andrew's Day. I don't think he knew either. But he said, thanks, Uncle John. So that's good. So he's got that. St. Andrews, you want to play St. Andrews.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
So that's one of your goals.
I want to go to Scotland, put a golf bag around, on my shoulder and just, walk around, play, have a beer, eat, play again, all of that stuff. Yeah.
I want to visit the Kincade Castle in Scotland to find out where the relatives came from.
What's the criteria for being a saint anymore? I wondered that when I was a kid. When I was in grammar school.
You have to have 3 miracles.
It's 3 miracles, and it's attributed to you. The person was praying to you.
You intervened on someone's behalf.
Yeah.
3 miracles?
Yeah.
I mean, we're 3 guys right here. There's not a miracle among us.
How about Jalen Hurts?
I'd say there's 3 disasters right here.
Does Jalen have 3 this year, too? I mean, he's got it going on. All right, somebody on the show, Pat.
What's up, man?
Believes that somebody may be getting a pass. Who is it?
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
Yeah, I'll just answer your question that you led in the break. I've been getting a pass probably for 12 years here at the Fanatic. No, I started to wonder this. So Brian Johnson's got a lot of ire from the fan base this season, and conversely, Sean Desai has not. Sean Desai has been kind of this all right, hey, at least we got Sean Desai looks good. His second half adjustments, blah blah blah.
Even though we're worse in every statistical category.
That's kind of my point, right? Is Sean Desai getting a pass? Is Sean Desai getting a pass because he's not Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding.
Because your last memory of Jonathan Gannon was failing to have any adjustment whatsoever in the Super Bowl and his 70-sack defense not being able to get home to the quarterback. Is it basically a situation of at least you're not that guy? Because I don't really buy into the whole personnel thing. I think for the most part, yeah, okay, he's missing a few pieces. From last season, but he's still primarily got a lot of them. I think he's done a good job. I'm not here to crap on Sean Desai at all. I think his second half adjustments have really been a strength of this team. I go into half excited to see what he does in the second half. But it's amazing because I feel like Brian Johnson, in a way, and I'm guilty of this, by the way. I feel like I'm leading the Brian Johnson hate club, but I feel like he at times is getting a lot of the ire because he was in the building last year, because the offense, you could make a case, got better with the pieces they added, not worse.
He was handpicked. by
he
the
was
quarterback.
handpicked, right? I mean, you shuffle out Miles Sanders, you replace him with DeAndre Swift. You could make especially for this season, make the case it's an absolute upgrade. But I wonder if he's getting a little too much ire while Desai's getting a pass. So I'll ask you guys, is that the case? Or is the criticism that both guys are getting or praise that both guys are getting, do you think it's accurate? Because it's amazing to me that every Monday or Tuesday we come in and it's like, Sean Desai's defense, Sean Desai, it was great. Let's label all the problems we have with Brian Johnson.
Number 1 versus number 20 this weekend.
I'm very guilty of it.
Points per game. 49ers, number 1, giving up 15.5 points per game. Eagles, 20th in the NFL. With the personnel they have on defense, the Eagles should never be 20th in the NFL in personnel, in points per game. Never.
So, looking at the last game against the Buffalo Bills, the Eagles didn't have any injuries on the defensive side of the ball, except Nakobe Dean, but I'm not going to count him because it doesn't play into this anyway. I'm looking at their starting defense from last week. You play 11. 6 of them didn't start for the team last year. So comparing last year, I don't know if you can. Jordan Davis didn't start for the Eagles really last year.
No.
He was hurt. He was out of shape that they finally came out.
So this year's better having this Jordan Davis.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, he's taking over for Hargrave.
Sure.
So you got that. Morrow they cut in the offseason, and now he's your best linebacker. Cunningham's in there, wasn't a starter for you last week, and now he's hurt. Roby you picked up after the year started. Byard you picked up after the year started. Reed Blankenship was a total unknown that was just thrust in there because guess why? You didn't have anybody else. Let's be honest. That's why Blankenship was put in there.
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
had nobody else. So that kind of makes the argument against you a little bit, Pat. Like, damn, they have a whole new defense here.
Yeah, well, yes and no, I guess. Like, they brought back Slay, Maddox, and Bradbury. Their cornerbacks were set. Safety-wise, yes, they did have a new defense. I'm not going to argue with that. And the secondary with the safeties, yes, that was all new. I personally had faith in Blankenship, but a lot of my faith in Blankenship was based on the fact that I had the same questions about Marcus Epps the previous year, and Marcus Epps came in and was great.
This all rounds back, though, Pat, to your point in the very beginning. He's not Jonathan Gannon, so he's getting a pass.
I do think that is a large part of it.
I do too.
I think there's a lot of people don't like Jonathan Gannon. I think it's like, all right, well, he's not that guy. And by the way, his strength in Desai was Gannon's weakness. Desai is great at doing adjustments. Gannon was sticking to his guns because he figured, all right, eventually these guys are going to get to the quarterback, and my defense is set on getting the quarterback. So I'll keep dialing up blitzes, but I'm not going to change anything because eventually my 70-sack defense will be able to get home. They never did.
Could I devil's advocate for you?
No.
Very few games
last
few games last year did the Eagles have to make second half adjustments on defense. Like you can handpick a few.
That's a great point. I mean, you still should be able to.
Oh no, you should be able to, absolutely.
Right. I mean, especially with the reason why they weren't being able to get home to the quarterback. It's not like it wasn't known. Oh, by the way, we're slipping and sliding all over this turf like it's an ice rink. But I do think that Desai is like, well, at least he's not Gannon, and the fact that his strength is there. But look, the linebacker, I agree with you. Linebackers completely new, but linebackers are new every year with this defense.
They got really good play from their linebackers though last year.
T.J.
Edwards was great.
Really
Kaiser White was really good too.
I would say they got really good play from T.J. Edwards. I think Kaiser White was okay
to not have him be here.
What, T.J. Edwards?
Yeah, he's playing as if you watch Monday Night Football,
he got paid.
He's playing to a Pro Bowl level.
But that's
a terrible team.
That's what they do. They don't really value the position. They scrap heap and let guys walk, and they tried to draft and develop, and obviously, we all know about Nakobe Dean.
Yes.
But then they also tried to draft Davion Taylor and develop him. It didn't work.
Desai's also going against some of the best offenses and best quarterbacks in the league this year.
That's a good point.
Something that didn't happen last year in the regular season.
Has a point.
I mean, Dallas, it seems like Dallas has the Eagles schedule from last year. Dallas is 8-3. They've played 2 winning teams. And they haven't played the great quarterbacks. They're 8-3, but they played 2 winning teams. The Eagles have played 5. And that's part of winning your division, by the way. When you win your division,
right,
that's what you're going to get. You get the harder schedule. The Eagles benefited from it last year, and this year maybe it's part of – it's either one of two things. It's either irons tested by fire. Is that the term? It's
iron sharpens iron?
Yeah, I mean, the fire analogy with iron, I don't remember. But it's the idea of maybe that's it. Maybe it's the fact that you're playing a tougher schedule. And you're in some trouble.
And another point there, and I've brought this up before, and I'm not sure if you guys agree with me or not, or if there was a response. There was a lot of guys on that defensive side of the ball last year that had either their best or near their best season as individuals.
The two of the cornerbacks that you paid.
The two corners probably did. Josh Sweat probably did.
Hargrave you let go, but he had his best year.
Probably his best year. Hassan Reddick.
Yes.
One of his best years.
No, he had his best year.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking 4 or 5 guys, not just, you had a really good year. Their best years. So, and let's not forget CJ GJ.
Yes.
Had by far his best year.
I still think he's the missing link. If you and people are like, well, he got hurt. That doesn't mean he would have gotten hurt here. He got hurt playing for another team during practice. I believe it was even a practice situation. It doesn't mean he would have gotten hurt here. I think he's the missing piece. Last year, he was a Swiss Army knife back there, and he was
awesome. A playmaker.
And he was awesome.
Yeah.
Constant. By the way, if you're looking ahead, you think about how the schedules change and how things happen to you. Next year, because of if the Eagles win the NFC East, which they should, you got to go to Cincinnati. You got to go to Baltimore. You have to go to New Orleans. You're going to, I'm trying to see where
Cleveland?
else.
No, I guess
no, Cleveland's going to be here. Cleveland will be here. Pittsburgh will be here. But you go to play the champion of the NFC West. So you'll play the 49ers in San Fran next year. It's a tougher schedule. It really does. And that's one of the things. Dallas benefits from it this year. The Eagles benefited from it last year. And so one of the things to do it. I love that topic, Pat, because I think it's not I don't think anybody – but first off, there's no reason that either one of the coordinators really deserves to be totally when you're 10-1. Correct. Yeah. But I do believe that he gets much more softer coverage, much like his defense. He has much more softer coverage than we get. And people hated the soft coverage last year, and this year I don't really hear it as much. Don't hear it as much. Last year was, Gannon, that's soft coverage. They're doing it again. And you know what that means? That means the head coach tells you, this is the kind of defense I want to play. You execute it. This is how I like it. Keep everything in front of you. The head coach dictates. They hire a guy based on philosophy. Does this guy fit my philosophy? Can we work together? But there's no. I don't think Sean Desai wants to necessarily play the kind of defense that he's playing.
No.
I think he'd be much more aggressive.
Huh.
I think it's go and read, and there's some interesting stuff. You have the time. You want to go down the rabbit hole of Pete Carroll talking about him. And Pete Carroll, by the way, loves him. And I guarantee you, the Eagles had to talk to Pete Carroll about Desai. And by the way, I like Desai. And he's a Temple guy, too, so I like it even more.
Temple.
But he's
Temple great.
But I respect Pete Carroll and his opinion. He thinks he thinks he's a brilliant defensive mind. And also, what is Pete Carroll like? A more aggressive defense. And I believe that maybe sometimes coordinators are coordinating with handcuffs on.
Yeah, I think it's an organizational philosophy.
That could be,
even bigger than Nick Sirianni. I think they have a philosophy in that building of keep everything in front of you.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised. There might be a sign, Pat, a sign somewhere on a wall in the complex that says keep everything in front of you.
Maybe. You seem to say that with so much enthusiasm that I feel like you know that for a fact. But
no, I just think I'm waking up.
It makes sense. You have guys that fit the system. Why would you bring in a guy to change it up drastically when your window's open? There was really nothing to fix last season about the defense other than, I guess, Gannon's adjustments. But their defense was really, really, really good last year. So if you're looking to replace Gannon, I'm probably looking at a guy that has a similar style, at least in terms of, coverage or something. I mean, that makes the most sense to me. I'm not going to drastically change things up, but I do worry that maybe some of his quirks have and tendencies have resulted in Darius Slay and James Bradbury both kind of having down-ish years.
You're hoping it's not that 1 foot off the cliff.
Look, I understand. If it was one of them, I'd be like, yeah, probably Father Time thing. But both of them, that to me is like, okay, it might be a Desai philosophy or a Desai game plan situation that's kind of hindering them. But
we all like Desai, by the way.
Yeah,
we all like him, and I don't think he's doing a bad job. But I do think he is being absolutely much like his defense, getting soft coverage in this town.
I think you put it best, John. I think we're probably a little too harsh on
Brian Johnson.
On both coordinators. Like if you come in,
I know
and
that
won the game, you're probably, but still, you got to bring up the good with the bad, right?
Exactly, and the thing is, it's not. I don't believe any of it is nitpicky. I don't believe any of these things that we talk about with the coordinators is nitpicky. I think it's ridiculous to say it is. When you're having to win 37-34, it's not nitpicky to say, okay, the defense needs to clean some things up. That's not nitpicking. There's a reason now you're 20th in points allowed. And I think with the personnel they've got, 20th in points allowed is ridiculously bad. That's a ridiculous number. You should never be.
You think 20 is really bad?
Yeah, they're only 12 teams worse.
What did we?
Last year they were 7th.
20 is not bad. What did we did this, I think, in the preseason. We said, let's predict what they're going to give up and what they're going to score.
No. They're 20th in the league.
Oh, I'm sorry.
19 teams are better than
What are they giving up a game?
22.5.
Is it? How do you like that number?
It's not. Well, I mean, it can change quickly. You put 3 efforts together, it can change quickly. So they've had a tough schedule.
Yeah.
They've had a tough slate.
Yeah.
Marcus in North Philly joins us. Marcus, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Thanks, buddy. What's going on?
All right, a couple of things. First thing first, yes, I'm a Cowboys fan.
We welcome you, Marcus. You're welcome in. We have no problem with you.
I want to say, I want to say this. Good teams find ways to win games, and that's what y'all doing. So I do believe the Eagles are a good team. Secondly, I don't think this luck is sustainable. Not luck, but just, things that keep going your way. Because even every game that y'all do win, y'all have a good chance of losing. But what I really called to say, I wanted to say that before I said what I had to say. I don't think that our schedule was technically easier than y'all. I just think y'all came into y'all tough stretch before we did, because now we're about to run into our tough stretch. Our next 5 games are mostly solid teams. Same way how y'all just ran through y'all solid teams. So
that's one of the reasons, Marcus, why I believe you're going to see that. First off, the Cowboys have to see the Eagles lose 3 games. The Cowboys can't win the division unless the Eagles lose 3. And by the way, 2 of those games must be this weekend, next weekend, and then one more. So, and that's the Cowboys winning out. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think we have something to prove. I think we have it in us. We got smacked around by the 49ers. We played y'all tough. But I think this is going to let us know right here what we are. If y'all lose to the 49ers, I think we'll have that even more juice, like that a little bit more juice. Like, all right, come on, let's snatch it from them, because we can't. It seems like in like last year, when y'all will lose, we will lose the same week with y'all. We can't do that if we want the division.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, John, you're great at this. Looking
Thank
ahead,
you, buddy, Marcus.
Let's look at the schedule for the Cowboys. They got the Seahawks at home tonight.
They're going to take care of business tonight.
I think they are. I think it's going to be a tougher game. Then you
do think? I think it's going to be
closer.
I'm thinking like a 10-point game.
Okay, you're probably right.
It could but it could be like a 7-point game that becomes 10 late, or something like that.
Yeah, they host the Eagles.
Yes.
They go at Buffalo, at Miami, back-to-back weeks.
They're losing at Miami or at Buffalo.
One of those two.
One of those two they're losing, which then means they would need the Eagles to lose 4 games of their last 6 to win the division. It's not happening.
And then on a short week, they host the Lions.
That's not easy.
That's a Saturday night game.
That's going to be a great game. That game may be 42-38. That Lions game.
Yeah.
The Cowboys, again, the Cowboys need this to win the division. They need the Eagles to lose to the 49ers. They need the Eagles to lose to them the following week. And if the Eagles then win out and the Cowboys win out, the Eagles are going to win the division on common opponents. So they need the Eagles to lose a 3rd game, which means they would have to lose at the Seahawks or one of the Giant games or the Cardinals game. I don't see it happening. And I don't see and that's all prevalent on the Cowboys winning out their 6 games, which I don't see happening.
No, nor do I.
So, I mean, people are talking about the division being, it's nail-biting, it's nail-biting. I don't really see it that way because I don't believe the Eagles are going to lose 3 games the rest of the season.
No, I agree with you.
I don't think they'll lose 3. I could see them losing 1. I could see them losing 2. 3? No, I'm not seeing it. 610-632-0975. Had a lot of interesting discussion today as we get ready for the 49ers and the Eagles. And on Sunday, we'll have the pregame show with Bob and Pat and Andrew, which I can't wait to attend. I have not been to a tailgate.
Oh, that's right. You're
I'm
coming.
so excited, yes. And my daughter's very much looking forward to it. She's a big fan of Egan and the Tunis, especially.
Thank you. Yeah, you get it.
No, she's a big fan of Egan and the Tunis.
Yeah,
she finds Pat very, very snickery and funny, and I think she just likes Tunis.
I'll go with the snickery on Pat.
She likes him. She thinks Pat's like the kid in the back of the room. Like Olivia always was friends with the kid who cracked up the classroom. She back in high school
wasn't popular with the teachers.
Oh
but,
no, not at times.
Yeah, fellow students. Some did enjoy me. Some.
It's
a few.
We have game time coming up at the bottom of the hour. And so that's coming up. Your chance to win life-changing, fabulous prizes.
San Francisco themed.
Oh, really?
Time,
I like that.
San Francisco treat.
We want you, by the way, to come and see us tomorrow. We'll be doing the show live from David Auto Group. So drivedavid.com. You can find everything you need to know at drivedavid.com. And they're having their Adopt a Child program for the holidays, and we hope you get involved in it. And it's weird that I got tipped off yesterday that when they do these toy drives, and it was on one of the local TV stations, it was not 6, girls get forgotten, boys get more gifts.
Aw. Why is that?
I don't know.
Are boys' gifts easier to buy?
People buy for boys. It's easy to go in and just see a football, see a toy. And that girls don't get as much, and the girls just tend to get dolls.
Oh, should we make this a girl-themed gift?
Get some girls tomorrow, too. Get involved. You can go, you know what you do? Go to drivedavid.com. You can find the Adopt a Child program. It's $75 on your PayPal if you want them to do the shopping for you, and you can adopt a little girl for the holidays, and maybe a little boy, too, if you want. So we'll be there tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully see you there. You Chester County and Delco folks, you better stop on by. We'll look forward to seeing you here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, imagine if your favorite casino came with
Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Chris Dollinger has this to say on email. He says, I don't get the opportunity to call in. He said, you asked something about the Lions and why does our fan base is, at 10-1, harping on the doom and gloom. It's that PTSD thing we were talking about. He said, I think it's personally the simple fact that this fan base as a whole has 50 to 75% more knowledge of the ins and outs of the game than your average fan from other cities. He thinks that's a blessing and a curse. I got to tell you, Chris, I don't necessarily agree with you when I hear callers sometimes. I don't necessarily agree that you could say, oh, yeah, we have the smartest fans in all sports. Like, we have, I would say, you say, what do you say Philly has? The most passionate fans?
I like the word passion, yeah.
I like the passionate fans. The most dedicated throughout the week. Like, my wife laughs all the time, having never lived here till she came up, a year and a half ago. She laughs at the local news, where it'll be like, there's a shooting in Kensington. There is a strike looming with SEPTA. But the big story on Action News, the Eagles are preparing for the big game. She laughs every week. She goes, this is not anything. She grew up in Jamaica, but then Miami.
And if it's not bobsledding down there, then what do they cover?
Exactly. Miami and Atlanta. Like, she's lived in Miami and Atlanta. She goes, that never would happen there. I said, it's different here. It is different.
It is.
But are we smarter?
I don't think we're smarter necessarily. Look, I've had really great football conversations with people.
Yeah,
I've had some really bad ones too. Like, I've had some where you're sitting there like looking around at the party going, can someone save me from this man's horrible opinion that I don't want to trash? And by the way, I've had some
You've
horrible
had some
opinions.
Too, yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts.
That's not true.
We could do a segment on it tomorrow.
Oh, I mean, Travis Fulgham, 1,000 yards. Jalen Hurts isn't your franchise quarterback. Yeah. So, like, smarter? I think we're a very large fan base, but I think when you have a very large fan base, you're going to have a good number of those people that don't really know what they're talking about. So I don't know if we're smarter necessarily, but there are some really, really smart fans out there that cheer for the Birds, and it's they're always appreciated on the show.
I mean, it is. I think we have the most amazing passion.
I agree with that.
Great passion.
But I can't sit in an ivory tower here.
And be like,
or a glass house throwing stones. Like, I've had some horrible takes.
50 to 75% smarter than the average fan base? I'm not buying. I'm not necessarily buying that. I'm not buying that. Is that I think
there's smart fans everywhere.
I think we have great, amazing passion, and I think it's unmatched in the NFL. Pittsburgh might give it a real good run for the money because Pittsburgh's pretty awesome.
I think Buffalo's up there.
Buffalo's awesome.
Green
exactly.
Bay might
give it a run for
there.
their money. Right, exactly.
It's like
that passion.
For me, it's like the cold weather. I truly believe cold weather has a lot to do with it.
What do you mean?
When you're in the Northeast or you're in like a Minnesota or a Green Bay where it's just, I think you're built different. And I don't mean that as like the mocking term, but legitimately, I think it's like,
I've seen the
you get your exterior's tougher. You're more thin skinned, I guess, a little bit. You take pride in lunch pail going to work, and the football team is like a saving grace. It's like weather sucks, but at least I have the Birds.
Yeah.
Whereas in a city like L.A. or Miami, weather's your distraction.
Yeah,
but for here, weather is weather's what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's horrible, but the Birds are your distraction.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of people complaining about sitting outside in 40-degree rainy weather for 5 hours.
No,
it's just
cares.
what it is you just do it.
Yeah,
and if you want to go, you go. Right, you go and you do it.
You know who did it? Kevin Cooney, your brother.
Yeah, Kevin was
he
there
is
the
my
other day.
twin cousin.
Kevin had a great post that was basically like, I just sat outside in bad weather for 5 hours getting rained on, and it was a blast. Wow. And that's a testament to this city where I don't probably see that going on in the the Miamis of the world.
We're going to have so much fun this weekend. It's going to be great. John in the Northeast wants to jump in before game time. John, do you have anything? Did you want to jump in, or are you going to play game time?
Oh, John's gone.
John's gone?
He's gone.
Oh, he left. He just want to play game time.
Well, we got to block these phones up. You can't have everything.
Hey, in fairness, I think it did say game time.
It may have. That may have been my
That's
error.
on you, bud.
That may be my
We're not blaming
error.
John on this. We're blaming you.
Maybe my error on that one.
Jeez.
Tell John to call back if he wants to play game time.
I guess he'll get in
in 3 minutes.
He'll get in with Brendan.
Lock it on up.
there.
Brendan might shut him out like a doorman.
He could.
At a club.
He's feeling good today, though.
Names on the list.
Look, he's a sixth-place fan today.
Oh,
So he's feeling.
no, he's got the luxury of coming in with some Temple stuff.
No, he does not. He should never.
I didn't even see what he's wearing.
He should never wear Temple gear ever. He's a Temple grad that roots for Villanova. He is absolutely right there with Judas Iscariot. He is sitting at the table with him.
And I think he said he sat in the St. Joe's section last night.
Yes, he did.
So he's a Temple grad who sat in the St. Joe's section, but he was rooting for Villanova.
He doesn't know what he
That's
is.
That's confusing.
I hope last night was painful and suffering for him.
He's got more of an identity crisis than James McAvoy in Split. And that dude had like 40. Like, he doesn't know what the hell he is.
Haley tells us he's wearing a sad gray sweatshirt. And she also agrees. Shame.
It's just there's no loyalty in this game.
The fact that we let Gunner stick around, I mean, that's really talk about getting a pass.
I'm more upset that that dude got in to Temple and I didn't.
So,
I'm loyal to that school.
And
they sent me a rejection letter.
We're kind of evenly divided here.
Why?
If you look at John and I just sitting here, and then you look at two guys sitting on the other side, you got Pat, who went to Newman but roots for Temple.
Well, because Newman's D3.
Well, he doesn't have it. Newman's different, though, because he doesn't have a team.
Okay. Our homecoming's a soccer game.
Like, if you don't have a team, right, exactly.
That's not even a joke.
Wasn't it lacrosse?
No, it's soccer.
Oh, it's soccer?
Like, legitimately, our homecoming was always soccer.
Like, if you don't have a team, I have no problem with you rooting for, if he decides to root for Villanova or otherwise. And he says, well, I was raised a Villanova fan. Like my brother, who's absolutely so many great things about my lovely brother, Doc, but he's also a rat fink because he roots for Villanova in basketball. They're his team. But Penn State's his team in football.
Yeah, it's funny.
And he didn't go to either school. That's a rat fink move. That's just not right.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of people like that, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of rat finks out there.
I mean, there's a reason
no rules in fandom.
There's a reason why Penn State is the
picking and choosing your
here.
team sucks. If you choose a college, especially if you choose a college that you didn't go to, then root for all the teams from that college. Don't pick and choose. You're not at the buffet at the Bellagio going, I'll take some of the shrimp and I'll take some of the steak.
It's hard for me to comment on it when I didn't get into Temple, but
yeah, but you didn't have a college that you picked Temple.
Still, look, my only thing is if you pick a team,
root for them all.
Well, I don't care about that. Like if you pick Villanova, just be a fan, and if you pick Penn State, that's fine. Like just be a diehard fan. But my problem is like when I was growing up, I remember when I was looking at colleges, getting rejected by all of them. My advisor was like, "You could go to Penn State. You could get in there." And I go, "No, dude, I can't because I don't like Joe Paterno."
You could get into Penn State Delco.
I know that's sacrilege to a lot of people. I was like, I can't do it. I crapped on him.
No, you couldn't.
For years. For me to sit there and go up there, and all of a sudden I'm Penn Stated up. I go, it's just a rat move by my part. So I'll find another school. Well, I found Newman.
Here you go. You found this though. Pat finds a chance to give you fabulous prizes every week on Game Time.
It's Thursday morning at 8:30, which means it's game time. Let's play the buzzer beater.
Oh, jeez, this is so hard.
Can you name before the buzzer?
He loves it. He loves doing this.
Yeah.
Here's
You
your
love
game
this.
time master of ceremonies, Pat Egan.
Hello, gentlemen.
This always gives us grief.
All right. The theme today is going to be San Francisco.
Oh, I like this.
I don't know if you guys heard the Eagles are playing the San Francisco 49ers. 610-632-0975. That's your way to get in for Game Time today. We do have some fabulous prizes. It's up to you if they're life-changing or not. We have a pair of tickets to the Flyers Devils tonight. We have a pair of tickets to go see the Flyers Penguins on Monday. A pair of tickets for the Tinseltown Holiday Spectacular. A pair of tickets to go see Sebastian Maniscalco.
Ooh.
A pair of tickets to go see Jason Aldean. A pair of tickets to go see Busta Rhymes.
Dude.
And The Fugitive on digital. We literally have something for everybody.
That really is great.
610-632-0975. It's going to go around the horn. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to give John, you'll be playing for a caller. I'm going to give Bob one. You'll be playing for a caller. And then I'm going to give a caller one. He'll be playing on his own.
Okay, there you go.
So it's just kind of luck of the draw,
That's
whether
fine.
you're playing for yourself or you're playing for
with one of us,
with one of you guys. Yeah. We will go to who's Rich. Rich and Cherry Hill is up first.
Okay, let's go to Rich and Cherry Hill. Rich, good morning. You're on the Fanatic. How are you, buddy? Let's win.
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Let's see if we can win.
All right, Rich, you're going to be playing with John Kincade, so if he loses, blame him.
Okay, here we go.
John, I need you to name 5 players that played for both the Eagles and the 49ers. Once again, 5 players that played for both the Eagles, 49ers. Ready? Go.
Brian Westbrook, Jeff Garcia. Wow.
Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters is a good one. That is a good one. For who? For what? Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's tough.
Unfortunately,
How about
man,
if Ray
you forgot a guy named T.O.
Oh,
He was pretty popular.
Damn, I'm sorry, Rich.
Forgot the guy that
that's all
T.O.
right.
was traded for, Brandon Whiting. He was pretty
I would
popular.
have forgotten Brandon Whiting. Yeah, I wouldn't remember that one.
Yeah.
T.O. is an egregious miss.
Yeah, it happens, man. I know some other ones. You got Chris Maragos, of course. Jordan Matthews.
Westbrook's the one I always
Namdi.
think of.
Yeah, so
because I hate it.
Yeah,
He went
me
out there
too.
and got concussed.
Like I hate it that he, and then you have Jeff Garcia. I always think of too, because I really like Jeff Garcia as a backup.
Yeah,
All right.
so did I.
And then a starter.
Yeah. Let's go to Anthony in Bristol. He's going to be playing with Bobby.
What's up, Ant?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, if you want to throw in names while we're trying to do this, I'd appreciate the help.
All right.
Okay. Name the 5 players that it's
Yeah,
only
no.
3. Okay. You know what? Yeah. Okay. All right, Bob. You want to bitch and moan and complain in
not
game
bitching.
time?
I wasn't. I was
All
just
right?
yawning.
No, it's just like you do this every week. No one complained to Alex Trebek about the questions, so fine. I'll make it easy for you. Name
no
me the
Alex
3.
Trebek.
Excuse me, sir. You will wait. Name me the 3 players that took a snap at quarterback for the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Go.
Johnson, Purdy, and Debo Samuel.
Nope. Keep going.
I don't know who was the third.
Christian McCaffrey.
Say it. McCaffrey. Yes. Good job. Way to go, Ant.
There you go.
My man.
There's a winner. What's he gonna get, Pat?
Yeah, Anthony, you have won. I think Bob's the ultimate loser here, but Anthony, you
Always.
have won. We're going to give you tickets to go see the Flyers Devils tonight, Wells Fargo Center. Get tickets at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com.
Wow. No,
Never,
job,
never heard a guy
This one is
whine
just
as
with
much
it.
as this guy. And he's wearing 49ers colors, too.
No, he's not. He's wearing orange.
Debatable.
He's returned orange.
For the
He's got
sake
orange.
of the insult, can you just go along with it, please?
Okay, there you go.
Let's go to Ray.
So this is insult Bob.
Let's go. Yes, it's
Let's
Insult
go.
Bob Day. Let's go to Ray in Washington Township up next. Ray, you're going to be playing by yourself, all right?
What's going on?
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
All right, I need you to give me the 5 reasons. There's more than 5, but 5 reasons why the Eagles will win. Go.
Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, and Jalen Hurts.
Dude.
Yeah, I can't
Like
argue
it.
with any of it, right?
I love it.
Can't argue with any
No,
of it.
you can't. Good job, Ray.
That was
the best part
fantastic,
is
Ray.
Ray had like 7 seconds to go.
Ray was so calm.
That's how you do it. You
The
just
calm
rattle it off.
delivery,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. He's like Jalen Hurts, cool under pressure.
Yes, he was.
Ray, you were going to end up winning tickets to go see the Flyers and Penguins Monday at the Wells Fargo Center. Get tickets at PhiladelphiaFlyers.com. Let's go to Mo in Warrington. He's going to be up next playing with our guy, Johnny
Mo in
DeCay.
Warrington. Hi, Mo.
Morning, boys.
Let's see what we can do, Mo, and you can yell out too and help me.
All right. I think this is going to be an easy one for you, John.
Okay.
Name 5 players that were born after the last Super Bowl win by the 49ers. After the last Super Bowl win.
5 players?
5 players.
On
the Eagles. On the Eagles.
Okay.
5 Eagles that were born after the last Super Bowl win by the 49ers. Ready? Go.
Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith.
Davis.
Who?
Jordan Davis.
Keep going.
Jordan Davis.
Keep going.
Jordan Davis. Jalen Carter. And oh, damn it.
I think I heard Hassan Reddick in there.
I think I heard it too.
Okay. That's a winner. Great job.
What are we getting them?
Yeah, he's going to end up winning a pair of a 4-pack of tickets to the Tinseltown Holiday Spectacular, FDR Park. Tinseltown Holiday Spectacular will bring the holiday magic for every family this season. Open tomorrow through New Year's Day.
It was
Plan your
great.
visit at tinseltownholiday.com.
We had
it's
a lot
really
of
good
fun
time.
last year. You talked us into you talked me into taking the girls. They loved it.
Yeah, look, if you're a family that loves looking at Christmas lights, this is the event for you.
And you're walking around, and
it's
there's
great.
food and beverage,
Yeah,
and
there's
fun.
alcohol.
There's alcohol.
Yuck.
John
Yes.
in Northeast is up next. He's back. He's going to be playing with Bobby.
Hi, John. I'm sorry, by the way.
Hey, guys, everything's good. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, let's go to. I got to make it easy for Bob.
No, you don't. You do whatever you want, Pat.
Okay,
If you
no.
want the listener to suffer, go ahead. Whatever you want.
It's suffering because they're stuck with you. Name 3 players who scored a touchdown for the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Go.
Gainwell, Boston Scott, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. There had to be 3 in there somewhere.
There wasn't 3 in there?
I'm not even kidding. You got it wrong.
Oh my gosh! Now how could that be?
Who were the touchdowns scored by?
2 by Jalen Hurts.
I said
Yes,
Jalen
he got
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Boston Scott. I said him.
He said Boston Scott.
Miles Sanders.
You said name.
No,
Name
he
three.
is 3.
But
Miles
there's
Sanders
3
is the third.
altogether.
Miles Sanders,
Miles
is,
Sanders
the
is the
third.
third, bud.
Oh, jeez.
Now, look, I'm going to give John the fugitive on digital.
I
because,
appreciate that.
You know, I'm not going to let John suffer celebrating his 30th year anniversary. The iconic film starring Harrison Ford is now in stunning 4K Ultra HD. But Bob, I asked for 3.
I can't believe
give me 5.
That's a hard question. It's
It's not a hard question. Don't.
It's my
make him-
fault. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, you got to do a better job.
Yeah.
Let's go to Rich in Levittown up next.
Hi, Richie.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
No, Rich, Rich, you're playing by yourself, okay? All right.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll
Okay.
do my best. I got
All right, this one's tough, man. Give me 5 things that suck about San Francisco. All right, 5 things that suck about San Fran. Ready, go.
Their radio hosts, their fans, their entire NFL team, all 3 of their garbage quarterbacks.
The poop app.
I love it. Yeah.
There
No.
you go.
And by the way, Rich, I love the fact that you started off with
The radio host.
Because Boom Boom and Squiggy can absolutely kick rocks. Ray, you're going to win tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco September 27th, Wells Fargo Center. Tickets on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. So I appreciate it, Rich.
I love that because it's the just such a the radio host this morning to say, why are Philly fans so mean? Call us. Why are they so mean? That was the topic yesterday.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why are Philly
we
fans
should've
so angry and mean?
But we didn't start this fight.
Oh my
You know what
God,
I mean?
they're
Like
the
you
ones
did. We just
doing
ended it.
all. Exactly.
Let's get a couple more here. John in KOP. He's
Oh,
up
that's
next.
good. Let's go, John. How are you, Johnny?
Hey guys,
What's going on?
This is the guy you couldn't get 5 centers from Philadelphia with the last time.
Okay, well, we're going to change that
Yeah, we're
today.
going to change it for you,
And
John.
we're going to be
Thanks
together,
for that
okay?
nice memory.
Okay. You're playing with John. All right, John, name 5 NFL coaches that have not been the head coach or on the staff of teams that blew the largest lead in the Super Bowl, blew the largest fourth quarter lead in the Super Bowl, blew the largest fourth quarter lead in the NFC Championship game. Ready? Go. Name 5 that haven't done it.
Tony Dungy, John Gruden, John Madden.
Quick.
Sirianni.
Terrible.
Yeah, I heard, John, I believe you just said Sirianni.
Yes.
I heard Marv Levy. Literally, it's any coach not named Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan,
It's any
baby.
coach not named Kyle Shanahan. You have ended up winning, and you're going to go to see Jason Aldean, August 2nd, Freedom Mortgage Pavilion. Tickets on sale December 15th at 10 a.m. Ticketmaster.com. Let's get
That question was very confusing. I couldn't follow it.
It's
I'm going to bob you on this one.
It's a shot at the flat. Look, I love this. You two guys blame me for this. Like, you take some responsibility.
Look,
let's
you
wrap
could
it
have
up.
said, what host, what coach doesn't reserve 6 seats at the pool and then go home for 2 hours?
Yeah, because everybody knows that.
Because he's
John.
a jerk.
Let's go to Anthony Adelco. He'll be the last one. He's playing with Bob.
Hey, Ant.
Hey, morning, boys.
All right, help me out on this, buddy.
All right, Bobby, you have to give me 5 excuses that the 49ers will make if they lose. Go.
The fans, the weather, injuries, Jalen Hurts cheated, and the refs.
That's a
Bobby,
great one.
I'll tell you what.
Wait a minute. You've just done the show rundown for every one of the San Francisco talk shows this week.
I'll tell you what, Bobby, I was a little hard on you at the beginning of game time.
Yeah,
all right?
yeah.
But I think it brought the most out of you because you flourished in that last question. And what you just did is you won Anthony a fabulous prize. You won him tickets to go see Busta Rhymes on April 7th at the Fillmore. Tickets on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. That's all you, Bobby. You
Great
did
job.
that.
We were going to name our 4th kid Busta, but we decided not to.
You decided not to?
Yeah, we went with
Busta?
instead. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Rhymes?
Wait a minute. What does Jenna know what her boy name would have been? If she was a boy? Did you already have a name or not?
No, because we found out what she was.
I thought you never found out.
We didn't with the other
with
3.
Jenna, you did.
Because
Okay.
my wife was so old when she had Jenna, we had to have testing done, and we
Okay,
decided
so
to
you
find
knew.
out.
So you found out.
I was just
so she
kidding,
never
Donna.
had.
Yeah.
It was Olivia would have been Noah. And
Noah?
then Noah ended up being.
That was a pool thing, right?
We in the pool.
Weren't you at a-
We
yeah,
wrote it
you were
down
in a
on
pool?
napkins.
Yeah. I
Noah
remember.
and Olivia, and then we lost a child and along the way, and I always think that Noah will be waiting for me in heaven, and he's going to go, Dad, where you been? The Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
That's what I'm thinking.
Ah.
Is that he's going to be just Eagles obsessed? Because I got to think it's probably 24/7 Eagles up there. I would hope. I hope I hope
heaven or hell?
Like I hope I can see Eagles.
24/7 Eagles right now is heaven, but if you're going to do it from years past, it might be hell.
I thought strangely about this topic many times this year, and I was like, I hope they have the Sunday ticket.
This conversation's taking a turn.
No, I think it's a happy thing. I hope they have the Sunday ticket up there.
All right, if you had one thing next to you in heaven, what would it be, real quick? One thing just next to you at all times in heaven, what would it be?
My wife and daughter.
Oh, jeez. Never mind. Let's go to commercial.
Nikki Foles, too.
I was going to say a keg of beer.
Yeah, my first thought was ice cream.
Yeah. John goes all sensible and stuff, and he's the good guy.
Yeah.
We're idiots.
I'm sitting here.
We're going ice cream and beer.
I'm going Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, if we talk about innocuous stuff like that.
No, don't change now. You got the girls on your side.
Yeah.
Well, I better have some. You're going to give me some ice cream and some of the beer? So, Bob asked the question every single week, and Jalen can't be the answer. We'll get to that next. Plus, coming up at the top of the hour, there was a victory last night. And it was a victory for everyone by St. Joe's. John Kincade Show on 97.5, The Fanatic.
This Friday, we got a big one, folks. We got Sixers.
Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Damon Bruce joins us from San Francisco coming up at the top of the hour. He gets up early. Kids get him up early, but he'll join us and he'll have his unique perspective on the 49ers, and I can tell you he is very measured, a very good resource. If you check him out for San Francisco 49ers stuff, he'll join us at the top of the hour. And the 9 o'clock hour will be brought to you by the Bagster, the dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's, and for details, go to Bagster.com. So Bob does it every week. And again, Jalen Hurts can't be the answer, right, Bobby?
That is absolutely correct, John. So put your thinking caps on. Where are you going to go with this one? No Jalen Hurts, but who is the most important person for this weekend's game in the Eagles organization?
I think Pat is going to answer mine.
Let's see what's in Cooney's corner.
I didn't know if this was a Cooney's corner or not, so
well,
I
it's
just
fine. I think Pat's going to answer mine, so I say.
What you do? I don't think so.
I think we have the same answer. I'll write mine down just to show you, and I won't. I'll show you afterwards.
Okay.
But.
So I guess, Pat, you're going first.
I'm going to let Pat have it because I think he's going the same way I am.
The most important person is going to be Sean Desai.
Oh, wow. We did not.
We
did not. My answer was Hassan Reddick.
Oh, so you're in the right church. You're just not in the same pew.
Yes.
Pat, what does Desai have to do this weekend, you think, in particular, for it to be a winning weekend for the Eagles?
I want Brock Purdy to regret ever signing up to play Pee Wee football. I mean, I want the camera to pan to him in the third quarter, and he is just looking out into space, going, "Where did I go wrong in life to get to this point? What decisions did I make? Why didn't I study accounting?" That and Sean Desai has a lot to do with it. You know, he's been reluctant a little bit to dial up blitzes, although his team is getting the quarterback. But I want to make life very uncomfortable for Brock Purdy. And when he does those play action fakes and he turns his back to the defense, when he finally turns around, I want him greeted by a sea of green. And I think if you're able to get him skittish and jittery, yeah, I think you'll be all right. And also, by the way, I'm sorry, also stopping and containing Christian McCaffrey and not letting him get out in space. And that's a huge one. You know, I mean, I'm not worried about Christian McCaffrey getting up the middle.
No.
Can he bounce to the outside, and can your linebackers contain him, especially in the passing game? That's on Sean Desai.
Yeah, one of the kind of scary numbers that I saw after the Buffalo game, these aren't exact, but somewhere in this vicinity, when the 17 or so times that the Eagles blitzed, Josh Allen was like 13 for 17 for 139 yards and, a touchdown or something. So it didn't bode well for Sean Desai to blitz last week. I don't know if that makes a coordinator a little reluctant to do it again. We'll see, but I would like to see pressure on Purdy also. So you got Hassan Reddick, John?
I have Hassan Reddick. I think that they need mayhem on Sunday. And honestly, you can count on one hand the amount of times this year we've seen the Eagles defense really creating mayhem for an opposing quarterback. Last year we saw it all the time. This year we see it occasionally. You need mayhem on Sunday. And, flushing him out of the pocket, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because he's going to throw a ball under pressure, that he's going to make a mistake. He's going to have those kind of things. It's not going to be easy for him, I can tell you that.
Yeah, the one play that the Eagles did last week was they brought both linebackers on a blitz. I don't know if you guys remember the play. They brought both linebackers on a blitz, and Josh Allen tried to hand the ball off, and it was just like,
they got
forget
swamped.
about it. They got swamped. I wouldn't mind seeing, I'm not saying two linebackers, and, you don't have Cunningham this week, but my most important player is Nicholas Morrow.
Really?
I need to precisely what Pat said.
Well, he's got to perform.
McCaffrey bouncing to the outside. I need a linebacker there to stop it. I need I need the linebackers to be there to fill gaps when McCaffrey's looking to bop things outside. You can't let him go off. You just can't, because they are such a better team when Christian McCaffrey's getting 5, 6, 7 yards a pop in the running game, and he's such a threat in the passing game also. So yeah, Nicholas Morrow's my guy. I got to hear a lot from him.
I never thought I'd hear that one, but it makes sense. It certainly makes sense. So Be ready for it. Hey, look who's on the line. Provolone Joe.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Joe, what's up?
What's going on, everybody?
Good, buddy. What's going on?
Man, I'm glad to be back on.
Glad to have you.
I got a quick point about the sainthood, and then I got a question for Pat if I can sneak it in.
Sure.
So we're talking about saints, and they got to answer miracles. I mean, who's answered more miracles than Jake Elliott? If there's not a Saint Jake, then there's nobody.
Good point.
I can tell you. The dude's money. 50-plus, rain, snow, sleet, wind, turf, grass. He could play on the moon. This dude kicks everything through the uprights. He's awesome.
St. Jake, I like it, Joe.
I like it. He is, and you can count on him.
Oh yeah, he's money, dude. He is totally money. So I got a quick question for Pat. I heard about the tickets in the game time. I didn't hear Sebastian Maniscalco tickets, and I got a question for Pat if I could get one in. Just to throw a question out there, and you guys can answer it if you want, if it's okay.
Yes.
Name the last 5 Eagles head coaches.
Is there
that's it?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, name the. Wait, I got to get the.
No, don't go.
No Wikipedia.
No, he's not.
He's not.
I'm getting the timer. Nick Sirianni, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson. You could go Pat Shurmur because he filled in. Andy Reid, Ray Rose.
Ooh, got it.
You got it. You had the Pat Shurmur.
You were going to miss Shurmur.
Yeah,
no, come on, man.
Joe.
He's the only undefeated coach in the organization's history.
Joe,
really?
Egan's the one. Egan's the one that will not miss that level of minutia, Joe. I can assure you. If somebody was going to miss that question, it wouldn't have been Egan.
Yeah, the delay was just because I wanted to get the timer up, and I was on the wrong page,
your level of minutia, like with trades, trivia and things like that, is unreal.
I'm not here for because I'm a sex symbol, gentlemen. I'm here for that.
I figured that.
I'm here for Pat Shurmur information.
Did you ever host the trivia nights?
Oh, I did. I did Quizzo at a bar for 5 years.
You did that.
Yeah.
You must have been great.
That was the best paying gig I had at the time.
You must have been great at that.
Yes and no.
What were you bad at?
I was always.
Did you talk too much as the host?
No,
good.
I was always uncomfortable when people would go, "That dude's cheating." I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like,
bring your jammer.
Other than go up, and then it's like the awkwardness, right? Like they're paying to be there, they're buying drinks or food or whatever, and I have to go, "Hey, are you cheating?" And they're like, "No, I'm on Tinder." And then I'm like, "Well, I feel bad." So I was always uncomfortable with that. You know, if you go to one of these Quizzos and sometimes the questions are wrong.
Cheating, though.
So,
Sucks.
it's annoying. What I would do is, if there was a hint of it, I would actually tell the manager, and then they would walk around during Quizzo as like just making the rounds, and they would check, and then they'd report back if the person was cheating or not.
I liked it. One place we went to was called Taco Mac down south, which is like a P.J. Wellhan's.
Okay. It's not as good as P.J. Wellhan's.
No.
But yeah.
But Jim Frisk knows them very well, the Taco Mac people. Take your phones, and every single thing had a basket.
I don't know.
It was all, they literally had these little baskets with a lid on them. Everybody at the table that's participating, take your phone, put it in the basket, flip it, and so your phone's right there, and then no one's taking your phone, and you can still hear it ring if somebody called you. But it was that way; people weren't on their phones.
Yeah, for me, it just
that.
wasn't that deep. But also, I had at the end of it, which I did a little differently than others. So you'd have 4 rounds, tabulate all the scores, but at the end of it, you would wager your points on one final question, a la Jeopardy.
Right.
So that, I'd have teams in last place that might end up winning the whole thing because they didn't bet any points and everybody else was like, "Oh, I'm going all in."
And they'd
have 20 seconds to answer a question. Nobody got it right. So everybody had a shot at the end, but COVID hit. I started in the morning show. It's not really conducive to that lifestyle. So, but I loved it.
Damon Bruce is going to be joining us. Pat's going to get him up on the line here in a second, and we'll talk to him about the 49ers. I've done 2 49ers related like podcast and radio show this week, and I got to tell you, I think their fans are different than their radio hosts. Their media members. Their fans are sort of really obnoxious, like whiny, obnoxious. The hosts, I think, have a ton of respect for the Eagles, but I think they have a quiet confidence that they can pull this thing off. That they can come in here and pull, and they should probably.
They should. Yeah, I was going to say, they should. They're a very good football team.
They are
a very, very good football team. So, I love watching Pat when he makes a phone. He's like arguing with the person right now.
He is. He would never argue with Damon. Damon's chill.
Oh,
Damon's an
it looked like he was trying to make a point there. Now he's laughing. So I
See,
guess
Damon's
we're okay.
chill.
Is he?
He's an Indiana guy, Indiana University.
Oh, all right.
So he's not chill like Bobby Knight was back in the day. But he is chill. So which is really, really good. So hey, let's go to the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business gets you ready for what's next. Damon Bruce is one of my favorites to hang with, by the way, at Final Fours and things like that. Also, too, you never know. Could it be an NFC title game again between these two teams? The question is, as Damon joins us live from San Francisco, Damon, is this a NFC title game preview in your mind? And happy good morning to you, by the way.
Good morning, John. Always good to be with you. Good morning, Philadelphia. How about this? The team that is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl is playing in Philadelphia on Sunday.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
Fair enough.
That's a good way of just sitting there on the fence. Tell us the best thing about the 49ers and the worst thing about their chances to win this game.
The best thing about the 49ers is the balance that they represent. I mean, they are a balanced team. They can play an awful lot of defense. They can throw an awful lot of points up on the board with an offense that is just balanced between McCaffrey and Debo, and now Brock Purdy has emerged as one of the best stories in all of football, period. The worst thing about the 49ers are the questions that are going to follow Kyle Shanahan until he wins the Super Bowl. This man has proven implicitly how good he is at this, but some people only recognize the team that breaks the finish line first. That's the only good team. That's the only good coach. The only good in football is Super Bowl, and every team that didn't win Super Bowl is bad. It's this, zero-sum game that some fans have in their mind, and this will haunt Kyle until he wins the big one, and it'll be the ridiculous conversation that we have to have until he does it. I mean, it's the whole Phil Mickelson's not a good golfer because he's never won a major. Oh, then he won a whole bunch of majors, and I guess he's a good golfer. So that's what's it's the conversation that won't go away.
Damon, when you look at this Eagles team, kind of reversing on that question, what is the biggest concern when you look at this Eagles team that San Francisco is going to have to go up against?
It's that offensive line that should scare everyone. I mean, the reason why I like the Eagles, and if I'm going to do a fence-sitting interview here and not just be braggadocio, old-school sports talk radio, it's because the Eagles are an absolute bully. And I respect football bullies very, very much. And I love that offensive line. I think the brotherly shove is one of the best plays in all of football. I mean, the people who talk about outlawing it are just ridiculous. The way that you avoid a brotherly shove is to win on first, second, and third down. Play football before the moment that you can't stop and play a better brand of it. And then you won't have to worry about canceling this with some rule book change, which I always hate. I think the Eagles are just, there's an awful lot of mirror image in the 49ers and Eagles. We're talking about well-coached, well-built, very talented football teams who play violently. And football is at its best when it's violent. You got two violent football teams. And the superiority of that offensive line, even given the fact that the 49ers' strength is that defensive line, that's a test that you have to take, and you have to prove that you can pass it before you just assume it's going to happen.
Is Armstead healthy?
Eric Armstead, yeah, he is healthy, and he's playing the best football of his season since Chase Young was traded for. I mean, that guy has opened up defensive line play, and you're seeing Hargrave and Eric Armstead being the biggest beneficiaries of Chase Young. It's not even the springing of Bosa that Chase Young has created. It's the springing of Eric Armstead.
I saw that he had a little foot thing that made him miss practice yesterday, and so I was sort of wondering if that was potentially going to end up being something that keeps him out. We want Lane Johnson. We want Lane Johnson to be there for you on Sunday.
I'm sure you do.
Yes, because he changes everything. Is there a player on the 49ers that changes everything? Because for us, Lane Johnson, when you don't have Lane Johnson, it's always harem scarum. Who's the player on the 49ers you can't miss?
It's Christian McCaffrey. This is one of the greatest in-season trades that any football team has ever made. The day that Christian McCaffrey showed up is the day that Kyle Shanahan's playbook went to its next chapter. and deeper than ever before. He's been the skeleton key that has opened up the doors for the 49ers. So he is definitely the biggest game changer offensively. And then, look, Brock Purdy. We're going to get to him eventually. Let me go ahead and steer the show into this conversation for you, because John, if Brock Purdy was the coolest guy in the room, like what's the coolest name we could ever attach to a quarterback? Like what, Johnny
Jalen Hurts.
Laserbeam.
We say
All
Jalen
right.
would be our answer.
Let's say Brock Purdy's name were Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
And instead of playing at Iowa State, which no one gives a rip about, played at Alabama, and then he went to Oklahoma, and he was a top pick in the draft, and everybody thought he was cool as hell, and he just came across cool as hell, and you took this fictitious Jalen Hurts and you attached him to every single one of Brock Purdy's numbers, you would have morning shows, you would have every sports show in the world lining up to bow down at the altar of how good Brock Purdy is early in his career. But Brock Purdy is not Jalen Hurts cool. Brock Purdy is John Mellencamp.
You used an Indiana
John,
reference there.
There you go. And look, John Mellencamp isn't cool. Nobody rocks a John Mellencamp T-shirt. But you go to one of his shows, and oh, my God, you're singing along to every single song. You know the words. You know the next note that's coming out of that guitar solo. Even though you never spent a lot of time listening to John Mellencamp, there's nothing cool about him, but he's really good. He's really good at this, and that's who Brock Purdy is. Brock Purdy is the story that takes every draft expert and shuts up all their talking points. And that's why they don't want to talk about him, because we got a world of draftism out there that this guy dunks on with every first down. So it's like people embrace the Kurt Warner story. It was so out of nowhere. This is about as out of nowhere as any story gets, but America doesn't want the player they never invited to the party to be sitting at the head of the table, much less just be at the table. And Brock Purdy's got head of the table numbers attached to him since he started in this league. He is tracking better than any player that ever reached the Hall of Fame through the first 17, 18 starts of his career. It's insane, but people don't want to tell that story. And defensively, your game changer is Fred Warner. This guy is just the queen on the chessboard. He moves in every direction faster than anyone. Fred Warner runs faster sideways than most people do going forwards or backwards.
Damon, I got a two-part question for you here. One, if the 49ers do this, they will win the game. What is the this? And if the Eagles do this, they will win the game. In your opinion, what is the this in both occasions?
Defensively, the 49ers need to win first down. It's got to be second and long to bring up the third and long, because you don't want third and manageable for the Eagles. The 49ers need to win on first down defensively all afternoon. If the Eagles get like 3 rushing touchdowns out of Jalen Hurts because they're just sitting there at the goal line and they're just getting brotherly shoved around. I mean, if this game breaks out and it is officiated like the Bills and Eagles games were, where there's a lot of flags on one side of the field and not a lot of flags on the other side of the field, and Philadelphia is allowed to be its bully, that is when the 49ers are going to be in trouble.
Let me give you a couple scenarios. Give me the answers to this one. The 49ers trail at halftime. Do they win the game?
No. They're the ultimate front runners, John.
If they lead at halftime, do they win the game?
Yes.
Okay. If the defense leads the day for San Francisco and the offense struggles, do they win the game?
Yeah, it's defense wins championships and games in Philadelphia, I heard.
Yeah, it could very well be. If the offense led the day and the defense struggled for the 49ers, do they win the game?
I mean, maybe. I mean, that's the thing. This is a team that can have a bad day defensively and still put 38 points on you.
Like the Eagles did last week, same type of thing, where they had that.
But they're able to do it from behind, and that's the difference between these two teams, and that's the difference in their resumes. The Eagles don't lose close games. The Niners are in peril in close games in the fourth quarter. They are ultimate front runners. I'm going to tell you right now, John, if the 49ers come out and they score on their opening drive, you're in for an afternoon.
I think you're in for an afternoon anyway with this team. There's a ton of respect here for the 49ers. Despite all the vitriol between some of the players and the 49ers and the fan bases, there's a ton of respect for what the Niners bring to the table.
Well, I mean, there should be. I mean,
They earned it, right?
It felt like a really balanced, beamy way to walk into the interview here, but I really mean it. I think the team that's going to the Super Bowl in the NFC is on the field in Philadelphia, and I don't know which one it is. I really don't know which one it is, but I don't believe in the Cowboys, and the Detroit Lions need to win a big game in their franchise's history before I assume they ever will. So I think that the representative of the NFC is playing on Sunday. I just don't know who it is.
And as I told you on your show, Nick Sirianni and his wife would not go to the pool, put 6 tails out, and then leave for 2 hours. That's your coach.
Well,
that's your coach with the flat bill. Pat, you always say it, flat bill, right?
Yeah, he looks like a douche. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Kyle, he's just an
You got to put a little curve on that brim. I'm in the same boat. There's no doubt about it. And then the little postage stamp hat he was wearing.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know.
He's not cool either. I can tell you this from personal experience. He's not cool either. So
He's not a cool.
They're not cool. Dude.
He's not a cool guy. He's not a cool guy. But players relate to him. For a guy who's not cool, I think he gets away with not being cool by how just brutally honest he is. And let's face it, players respond to coaches who make them better. Kyle Shanahan makes better football players out of just about every single football player he touches. He really does. He's good at this.
Did you make a call in the game yet?
What's that?
Did you make a call on this game yet?
Did I am I doing the play-by-play?
No. If it is, who's winning?
How about this? Because I really
because if you sit on the fence, I'm going to kill you. Come on now. Who's winning?
If you give me 3.5 points in a 10-1 football team at home, I'm taking the 10-1 football team with 3.5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that simple. The 49ers 1,000,000,000% can win this game, but I really am a doubting Thomas here, John. I need to see it with my own 2 eyes before I assume anything.
Yeah.
But for the soundbite that you need to play when I'm wrong about this back on.
No, we wouldn't do that to you, would we, Pat?
No, you'd never do that. You'd never ever.
We're not that type.
I might have to.
49ers 28, Eagles 21. You lose, Philadelphia.
Damon, you're a winner. Everyone follow Damon Bruce on social media. You'll have links to all his content. It's absolutely awesome. Love you, buddy. Take care. Have a good one.
Good morning, and I'm so happy to be talking to you this morning.
Thanks,
in so many ways. You know that, man.
I know
love
that, too.
you. Take care.
Thank you, Damon. Take care. Damon Bruce joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business gets you ready for what's next. It is a tight one. He says,
"Yeah, he was going good there until he had to go the bravado act at the end."
Well,
I think he thinks
he talks about the 49ers being front runners.
But he said though, take the points in the Eagles.
Yeah, and then he went against it.
And then he said, "There it is."
I think I got.
Then he had San Francisco covering.
You think you got into him?
I think I got in his head because I called him up and I did my Matt Nahagan impression, who, for people that don't know, was our former program director that is now his program director out in San Fran.
Hey.
Yeah, so I called up and hey, it's Matt. I just want to win, and started doing that. So I think I got in his head. Yeah, I think I threw him off.
Hey, the most important person to call, according to Philly Lump 28 on Twitter, most important person will be Josh Sweat. If we can focus the double teams on Reddick and Carter, Sweat can eat.
That's not bad.
I don't mind that one either.
That's not bad. Hey, yeah, I like yours, John. I like Hassan Reddick a lot.
Josh Sweat against Trent Williams is going to be a really good matchup to watch.
Yeah, that's why I kind of want to see some stunts and all. I want to see some different things. I want to see, I'd love to see a fat body tying up Trent Williams and then having your skinny guys like a Reddick, like a Josh Sweat coming around off the edge, finding holes in the middle to get up in Purdy's face. Both of your guys' answers I thought were spot on. Pressure on Purdy and then obviously what you said, John, with Hassan Reddick. Probably hand in hand, but
it's the same sort of message.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I went defense also. We're all looking at defense. Isn't that funny? I'm not going to say complain, but as much as we have dissected, let's say, the Eagles offense, we all went with most important player, somebody on the defensive side of the ball.
was great. We had Adam Fisher yesterday. We gave him the good juju. But Billy Lang is a rock star today for almost everybody who loves college basketball, except the people on the Delco campus on the main line. It's the John Kincade Show. We'll talk to Billy Lang. We'll talk more about this Eagles-49ers matchup, and it's 97.5, The Fanatic.
All right, it's Thirsty Thursday, but the question is your partner thirsty for you? Or has it kind of been a rough patch for you? Has it been one of those where it's I got a headache? Yeah, they might be patting you on the back afterwards and just saying it's okay, it's fine. I'm okay. But deep down it's not been fine, and it hasn't been okay. And your performance has been lacking in arguably the most important place in your life, the bedroom. Well, guess what? Blue Chew, they can fix all of that. All right. What Blue Chew is it's the first chewable. It's not a pill. So if you hate pills, this is for you. Because it's the first chewable that has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it's cheaper. Comes at a fraction of the cost. And also, Blue Chew has taken the hassle out of getting such an item. And they've taken that away. All you do is go to BlueChew.com, one-stop shopping. You're meeting with a licensed medical professional, and then after you're cleared, the chewables are getting sent to your door in a discreet package. Nobody's going to know, all right? It's only you and your partner. So now instead of getting the pats on the back, that sympathy pat, no. Now you're getting high fives. Now Thirsty Thursday has a whole new meaning. But if you're somebody that, let's say, Father Time hasn't caught up to, so let's say your performance is fine and you're sitting there going, I don't need that. Well, Blue Chew can make you better. It's not just for people that might be struggling to regain their old form. It's for anybody looking to up their game, to elevate their performance. That's what Blue Chew is. And they're so confident that they can help you out that they want to give you your first month completely free. All you do is head to BlueChew.com, and in the checkout, just enter the promo code Fanatic. And when you do that, you're getting your first month of Blue Chew completely free. All you're doing is paying the $5 shipping. That's $5 to turn Thirsty Thursday into that old meaning, that hot meaning that you used to have. It's a pretty good deal, right? So head to BlueChew.com today. That's BLUEChew.com. And don't forget to enter the promo code Fanatic at checkout.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Lane Johnson is back. I'm Pat Egan, and the Sports Update is brought to you by the BetParks app. When you open the BetParks app, you're in the zone. It's all your favorite casino games at your fingertips. Plus, new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. If you're down in the first 24 hours, you play for fun, you love to win, you bet Parks. Must be 21 in PA or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Sixers fell to the Pelicans last night, 124-114. Sixers were without Joel Embiid in this one, who was dealing with an illness. Zion Williamson, Tyrese Maxey, they each had 33 apiece. They were your leading scorers. Sixers will now ship up to Boston to take on the Celtics on Friday in a game you'll be able to listen to on 97.5 The Fanatic. Big Five Classic Championship is now set after St. Joe's upset number 18 ranked Villanova 78-65, and Temple defeated LaSalle 106-99 triple overtime. So now the matchup is Temple versus St. Joe's. They'll battle it out for the Big Five Classic crown this Saturday, 7:30 down at the Wells Fargo Center. We'll actually be joined by St. Joe's head coach Billy Lang coming up next at 9:30 to talk about his team's big win. The Eagles got back to practice yesterday, and so did Lane Johnson. He was a limited participant, but he was back. While he was back, though, Fletcher Cox, he missed practice. He did not practice at all. Flyers are back on the ice, by the way. They play the Devils. 7 o'clock. Puck drop, and you can hear the game right here on The Fanatic. I'm Pat Egan on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Join Pat Egan and Corona for a Sixers watch party tomorrow from 7:30 to 9:30 at Ashburner Tavern, 8400 Torresdale Avenue in Northeast Philly. Enter for a chance to win Sixers tickets and enjoy ice-cold Coronas.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-471-9646. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Help USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-471-9646. 800-471-9646. 800-471-9646.
Hello, Avello. Hello, low fares. Do you know Avello Airlines? Did you know there's a new way to fly south for the winter? Avello is now flying out of Wilmington Airport with nonstop flights to over 10 cities, including 7 cities in Florida, Nashville, the Carolinas, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Gotta love it. Say hello to low fares, affordable parking, industry-leading reliability, and convenience. And with fares as low as $34 one way, why are you waiting? Fly Wilmington, fly Avello, and book your next trip at AvelloAir.com. That's AVELOAIR.com today.
No matter what the weather, most of us need to get on the road every day and get going. So we need tires to depend on in any condition. No one understands that better than the dependable people at Mavis Discount Tire. At Mavis, we believe nothing builds more confidence while driving than having the right tires at the right price, so you can confidently handle the road ahead. Roll in for $260 off select sets of 4 Goodyear tires. Visit us at mavis.com.
It's Macy's Friends and Family Sale. Take an extra 30% off gift ideas from designers they'll love, and 15% off beauty, skincare, and fragrance gift sets when you use your coupon or Macy's card. That's on top of great deals like women's holiday dresses, $150 and under. Plus, shop the season's hottest toys from Monster High, Discovery, and more, 10 to 50% off. Download the free Macy's app for more savings at Macy's. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262. 800-485-6262.
Wait, was he tackled or did he slip and fall?
Looks like the coaches are demanding a replay.
Too bad they can't demand Rand.
What?
You know, Rand and Mike Spear, the accident lawyers. They are personal injury specialists, and they have the best 1-2 punch in the game. They won over $750 million for their clients.
If you want to win, don't settle for the second string. Call 1-800-90-LEGAL and demand Rand. Or start your claim online now at randspear.com. 1-800-90-LEGAL.
The AAA Eagles MVP membership is in full flight. Eagles MVP members receive all of the amazing benefits of AAA, along with Eagles rewards and experiences no Eagles fans will want to miss. Get discounts at the Eagles Pro Shop, chances to win tickets to every home game, pre-game sideline passes, exclusive invites to MVP events, and more. Join now and new members will get a $20 gift card to the Eagles Online Pro Shop, and you'll be immediately eligible to win Eagles rewards. Go to AAA.com/Eagles for details and join the flock today.
Every drive starts somewhere. For First Trust Bank, our drive started in Philadelphia and continues to this day. As Philly's hometown bank for more than 85 years, we know this city's people. We understand their passions, and we work our tails off to help them reach their goals every day. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank. First Trust Bank, the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. Member FDIC.
Want to win tickets to a Sixers game? Join Pat Egan and 97.5 The Fanatic at the Ashburner Tavern, presented by Corona. Friday, December 1st, starting at 7:30 p.m. before the Sixers take on Boston. Join Corona specials and win great prizes, including tickets to an upcoming Sixers game. It's 97.5 The Fanatic Sixers pregame party with Corona at the Ashburner Tavern, located at 8400 Torresdale Avenue in Northeast Philly. For details, go to the events page on 975thefanatic.com.
The Fanatic's Business of Sports is powered by Pico for Business.
Our friends at Betway analyze stadium data to find out what they charge for a scoreboard message and for your engagement to be done publicly. And you know what? Our 76ers are a great value. They ranked outside the top 10 overall in the index. They made it a very affordable. They're talking about dinner, the celebration, and what you have to pay the team to be able to get it done. $447. Sounds like a bargain for a lifetime of happiness.
Businesses of all types and sizes are saving money with Pico because Pico's got the financial incentives and technical expertise to help you reduce your energy use and to save cash. See how Pico's helping businesses like yours take greater control of their energy costs to improve their bottom line. Simply complete a customer survey on Pico's digital portal and an energy profile. The report will be generated for you, and this profile is going to provide specific recommendation based on your facilities, equipment, and energy use with great ways to save while either maintaining or increasing productivity.
Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Appreciate you being with us today. Billy Lang, St. Joe's head coach, and a hero to many today.
Yes, a hero to many.
He is a hero to many.
So when I got a text from the person who set this up, and they were like, "Yeah, pumped. I'm a St. Joe's guy." And I was like, "I was a St. Joe's guy tonight too."
Seriously,
I'm a whoever's playing Nova guy.
It is great, and I think Billy Lang did a service to the city. Cleaned up the streets a little bit and made it going to be great. It's going to be a fun event coming up on Saturday. Bob, you very much are neutral on all this. Pat and I are just not. And the funny thing is like Guy sends me a thing this morning. He goes, I'm not as, I used to root for every Big Five team, but I'm not going to root for Temple anymore because you push Temple so much. I'm like, I'm from Temple, for God's sakes. I'm a graduate. I am an adjunct professor. I'm the father of a student. I'm an alumnus. Why should I be rooting for anybody else? I think it's ridiculous. But I do know this, Bob. Billy Lang did a service to the entire community yesterday, and I think that many other basketball programs were cheering for the St. Joe's program last night. And Billy's with us right now on the Comcast Business Hotline.
Billy Lang, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, John. Hey, Bob. How are you guys?
Billy,
sound a little hoarse today. What's the matter?
Hey, when you have to coach a bunch of young kids in front of people that don't want to help them listen, your voice is going to be worn out. So it's what it is.
All right, before we get deep into this, John, I got to ask Billy this question. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. Bill, you were asked before, who are the two most influential people in your basketball mind? Do you remember getting this question before?
It changes daily. I'm
okay.
Sure I did.
At the time, his answers were Magic Johnson. And remember who your other one was?
It could be a host of people, Bob, but please remind me.
How about that Sal Roccabaldo?
What?
Oh, man.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. Well, Magic Johnson was I think, changed basketball as a 6'9" point guard that played with great joy and passed. Sal Roccabaldo is the best under 6'1" offensive rebounder I've ever seen. So,
Rock's brother.
right.
Billy played with him in high school.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, I got to say this, and your Magic Johnson thing was great. I think it's great because I look at him as like if you go Lawrence Taylor of the NFL, where the game changed. The game changed because of him. The game changed there. What is it you're trying to change at St. Joe's, and how far are you along in the process in your mind?
I don't really know if I'm trying to change anything. I mean, St. Joe's is a great university, a very unique university, a transformational community. I think if anything that I'm trying to do is change maybe the mindset as it pertains to our basketball program and the way people view it. And I mean it like this. One, we have great tradition and history. So everything that's already been laid out foundationally, I'm blessed to be able to steward it right now. But I want us to think as big as we could possibly think, because I think the story of St. Joe's basketball deserves a vision and a stewardship and then an aggression by our players to go chase something really big that would promote the program in the university. So that's really it.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Billy, when you and I, when I was covering the Sixers and you were an assistant there, we all know it was about the culture and trying to build one. And I texted you about this last night. I feel like you're really building a culture there that it feels to me watching your team. And culture isn't just winning, as you know. It's so many different things. Was that prominent in what you're doing? And this isn't a slight to anyone else. This is your culture, your program. Is that big on your plate here at St. Joe's?
Yeah, Bob, first off, thank you for taking the time to message me. I appreciate that. And so thank you for that. It is. I mean, first off, I've coached with people that value culture. I mean, Jay Wright, obviously, and then, what Brett did with the Sixers in his 7 years there is truly amazing, in my opinion. And I just think, and you actually mentioned it shouldn't be based off the result. You can't win and not have culture and act like it's not important. And then when you lose, you turn around and say, oh, we got to build our culture. It's either you believe in it or not. And really what it is like, culture is not something that you just, rub the lamp and the bottle and the genie pops out and you have culture. It's an investment by people. And we've got great people in the program, the staff and the players. And so just one by one, brick by brick, day by day, we've tried to do something. And it always looks like you got good culture when guys are banging 14 threes.
Well,
but you have to believe in it when those things are not going on. That's what you got to believe.
You didn't beat Villanova last night with culture, though, did you? I mean, because I'll tell you this, the defensive effort impressed me. Really impressed me.
Yeah.
You win. Do you win? Like the week? The week is more culture, but on the court, right? It's got to be something. You're trying to beat a Villanova team that is supremely talented.
Well, I think both things are true. I mean, one, you still have to play the game of basketball, right? You have to be fundamental. You have to be detailed. You have to attack on defense. You have to execute, your offense and your defense as a whole. So, for one, I agree that has to happen. But in the game, there are so many moments that challenge, the human spirit. They could divide you because maybe guys aren't playing well and their minds go to different places or the team's on a run. And then the things that you talk about culturally through the week matter. I think they matter. So I think both of those things are true, and they both have to exist at the same time.
Billy, your style of play, they were talking about an awful lot last night on the coverage, and it's an up-tempo style with two guards who I absolutely love in Reynolds and Greer. The style of play, did you make it towards the talent that you had, or is that a style that you've always wanted and you brought the players in for it?
What's crazy is like style, again, I go back to it's like when you make shots and things go in, you have good players, like people talk about it. We've been doing it for 4 years here, and it just sometimes it looks better than others. And as we've invested in our players' development and gotten some talented guys, it starts to become better and better. I believe in playing up tempo, and tempo is not like just fly up the court always and take a shot in 5 seconds, John. It's the way the ball moves. It's the pace of the cutting. It's the force of the screen. It's the spacing. I mean, since I've coached in high school, whether it was at Division III or at the Naval Academy or the implementation of the offense that Brett let me do with the 76ers, it's just what I believe in. And I told many people this. The teams that I've coached, they always walk a fine line of like it looks reckless versus it looks beautiful, right? And so what you try to do is you try to keep working with the guys to value the possessions and make them as team oriented as you can and executed as you can. But we want to play with great pace on every possession. We want to put pressure on the defense.
Billy Langston, a hero today to many in the college basketball world. But I'll be rooting against you on Saturday as a Temple man. And I ask you, though,
won't
Bill.
be the only one.
Billy, I got to ask, though, is that St. Joe's, Temple, LaSalle, can these programs survive and thrive in the era of NIL?
I think if we try to do it the way that other places do it, the answer is no, but only because every university and every program is unique. But we can't survive without it, And so if schools believe that the basketball programs are important to the health of the university, then there has to be an investment into name, image, and likeness, no different than there's an investment into the way you travel or the equipment you buy for your guys to develop or facilities. Like, this is a major part right now of college basketball, and it's not going away. Believe nothing that you read that it's going away. It's going to exist forever. It has to. So for certain universities, they're going to be able to do it a certain way because of what they have supporting them, whether it's football or just the size of the university. For other universities, they have to find their own way that matches the mission of the institution, so you don't feel like you're compromising that mission and that educational system. But without any doubt, if you want a thriving basketball program at your university, you need to have something in line for name, image, and likeness.
Billy, you've been involved in the Big Five as a coach for the last 5 years, but you and I both grew up in the area. You know, you know what the Big Five means to us. This tournament, obviously you love it. You're in the championship. But what did you think of the idea of it? How do you think the idea of the Big Five is going forward?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Big Five's history stands on its own. You know, the games that we all have grown up and seen, the pageantry between the universities, you know, the provincial nature of the Big Five lends itself to just the edge of the city of Philadelphia. I mean, I've said often that the Big Five is the city's fifth professional sports franchise, even though it involves 6 teams. Like, people care deeply about this. And, you know, as times have changed and leagues have gotten bigger, and I think Villanova's rise as a blue blood program, it's made us look at how do we keep this thing alive as it's moving forward. And so I credit, I don't know who took the lead on this idea, but I think it's a great idea. And I think the timing's pretty cool because as we're getting used to this NBA in-season tournament, that's really what we're doing here with the Big Five. And so I think embracing this as a way to celebrate the history, but also have a newness to it that you could see maybe living for the next decade or so, I think was a welcomed addition, and I'm glad that we're doing it.
That's great.
Billy, tell your father I said hi. Hope everything's going well with the family, and I'll see you down there on Saturday.
It's going to be a big one. Good job. Thank you.
Fellas.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Billy.
Appreciate it. Billy Lang from St. Joe's, a hero to many today.
Yeah, when I was coaching in high school, his dad was the head coach of our rival school.
Really?
Yeah.
Did
And
you
Billy
like him?
Oh, yeah. God, yeah. Mr. Lang's a great guy. Actually, when I played, Billy's father was a coach of a team that we played against.
Wow.
Yeah, really good team. We thumped them. But
you thumped?
Yeah, they were really good. They were ranked like number 2 in South Jersey, and we went in there and crunched them. But yeah, that was. They are such a basketball family, and even Billy, when he was playing in high school, I think I was coaching in high school when he was playing in high school, and just to watch him, you just knew he was one of those kids. Like, yeah, that kid knows the game. That kid knows the game.
Well, he's a grinder as far as being, building up a career.
Oh, yeah.
And,
God, yeah. I was looking through his career. High school coach, assistant to Herb McGee, assistant to Speedy Morris, assistant to Jay Wright, an NBA assistant.
And here, that's royalty.
Oh, God, yeah.
And you don't get to – if he failed for one of those guys, he wouldn't be working for the next one.
Yeah.
Because those guys know who's good and who isn't. So that's great. St. Joe's Temple Saturday in the championship game.
Yeah, I can't wait to get down there for that. I'm really, really looking forward.
Now, the 5th and 6th place game will include 5th place Drexel, Pat, which was put into the Big Five, where I don't even know that. I mean, they just added a team to the Big Five. I didn't get a vote that they added Drexel.
You think you should have gotten a vote?
I think we should have. I think everybody as an alum should vote whether a school gets in. And then the 6th place team is the Pride of Delco on the main line, Villanova, which is great.
I was texting with buddies last night who I'm going with on Saturday, and I said, I can't believe that the least interest game we have concerns Villanova.
It's like only the sixth time, I think, I read this morning that 2 undefeated teams have played in the City Series for the championship.
Is that right?
That's really weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a weird setup.
Yeah, I hope there's a good crowd down there on Saturday.
Oh, I think you're going to see that.
I hope so. Yeah, we'll probably get down there for the last part of the Nova game. Really excited to see Penn and LaSalle, and then of course the championship game that night.
I think it's funny that though I still find it, Pat, crazy that people think if you're an alumnus of a school here in Philadelphia, you should be rooting for all the schools. Though you should be, you shouldn't be rough on an opposition. I can't get it. I don't understand it.
I do too, but I think people that are like that are probably very, very casual. Watching college sports.
So let me ask you.
I shouldn't root for Villanova.
I think the diehards do understand. Like, if you're a Temple fan, you're not going to root for
No.
St. Joe's or Nova. You're competing for the same kids. But if you're a casual, hey, I'm just an alumni and I'll go to a game a year, you don't really care.
That's different.
You don't really care, so you just want what's best for the city.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrel cousin Matt texted me this morning. He's a St. Joe's guy. And he goes, we're rivals on Saturday. And I said, we're rivals every day. Every day.
It's funny. I love watching games without a rooting interest, as you guys know. I was texting with Pat last night trying to get him interested in the Notre Dame-Tennessee women's game. Which he had no interest in. But I kept him up to date what was going on.
Oh, jeez.
But I find it funny. If you're sitting around in Temple's, you're watching an elite Eight or a Final Four game, and one of the teams is one of the Big Five teams, you wouldn't be rooting for them.
No.
How about that?
Because they're going to get all the praise, all the glory. It's going to get shoved down your throat. No.
Okay.
No, I can't do that. I just don't. I look at it the same way I would look at, okay, the Dallas Cowboys get to the, the Giants.
But see, you're maturing on this, though. I'm going to say how much better of a person you're becoming. If Fran Dunphy, though, and his LaSalle Explorers were in the Final Four, you'd be rooting for him.
Well,
if they're playing Duke, you'd be rooting for Fran Dunphy.
I root for Fran Dunphy.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing where I just...
Now that we've had Billy Lang on, if he gets to the Final Four, you're going to root for him.
Yeah, he's a really good. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
good and a good interview too. Good radio.
Oh, Billy
a lot
could,
of coaches
Billy
are
could
not
sit
good.
And talk hoops all day. Billy and I one time, I said to him, "Sorry, Pat. I think we were in Oklahoma City, and I said, Billy, I got to come over to the hotel and talk to you for a little bit about a story I'm doing. Let's meet down in the lobby." I think we talked for 45 minutes to an hour before I said, "Oh, shoot, let me get out. Let's get to
Here's
business here." Yeah, because he's just a great basketball mind.
Yes, it's good.
Sorry, Pat.
I don't think I would cheer for like Fran in the
Okay,
Final
how about
Four
this?
and all that.
If Fran Dunphy
I have the
won-
utmost respect for him, but
Right.
I would just deep down know that it would ultimately hurt my favorite team. Like when LaSalle did end up going on that run with Giannini, I wasn't happy about it.
Well, I mean, I worked for the Big Five under Dan Baker and the legendary Buck the bartender. Just a tremendous man, Bob Vitrone, who I shared a birthday with. And I worked for them my senior year where I was the intern for the Big Five and had to help them promote this Race for the Ring. Do you remember this? Jostens, where they had the Jostens tournament.
Oh, yeah,
And they did,
absolutely.
Like the Ring Company?
Jostens Ring Company sponsored a Christmas tournament.
Yeah, I
And
absolutely remember that.
I was brought on to do, that was my total responsibility. Work with all the things that were going on around that event. I couldn't root for any of the other, and the other coaches would come in, the other ADs would come in, Ed Stefanski would come in and stop by the office there at Penn, and they'd stop in the office, and I couldn't. They were like, I could not root for any of them because it's just I don't understand where rooting for a rival.
Well, all right. So
At all.
let me preface this. So I couldn't root for LaSalle, right? If they were to win, at that point, I can't do anything about it. I'm happy for Fran Dunphy.
That's different. I would be in the same boat.
But because I got the utmost respect for him, and he's got LaSalle playing really good basketball. And,
He does.
They're 5-2 now, but they entered last night's game 5-1, which is really impressive for them. But yeah, I'm not going into that game going like, man, I really hope
I'm
LaSalle
all
wins.
LaSalle'd up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you would be happier if they won as opposed to Duke beating them in a Final
I'm
Four
not
game.
mad if they lose.
Right. I hear you.
Fandom is weird because you say no rules to fandom. And Pat, there are no rules.
I say there's no rules. Pat has.
No, but I mean, you say there's no rules, but Pat,
rules.
but I mean, there's a few, and as far as what the rules are, and to me, you never root for a rival. If you're a real fan, if you're a deep down real fan, no Temple fan, no Villanova fan, no Penn fan would root for another Big Five team. Like it doesn't make sense.
Probably not.
If
But
you're a
I mean, think
diehard-
about the teams you mentioned, right? Like St. Joe's rebuilding program, Temple rebuilding program,
Penn
rebuilding.
Penn a little better.
There's
off.
been a blue blood program in this city, and that's it. And it's been Villanova.
And they've done it. And I can also acknowledge like the greatness of Jay Wright of a rival.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to ignore it at this point.
I don't
right?
want to
Two
look in
national
his eyes.
championships.
I don't want to look in his eyes because he's going to then corrupt you with that smile, and everyone tells me how great Jay Wright is.
Also, like Bob, like you have a personal relationship with a lot of these guys. Like you know them, you're friends with them.
Yeah.
So, of course it's easy for you. Like you're cheering for a buddy.
Yeah, kind
But
of.
me, like I don't know these guys
the same way. Right?
Yeah, the same way. So I can separate it just as a fan. If I were to get to know, like when we had Fran Dunphy in here, it's hard. It's hard not to like the guy.
Yeah, but I think if I had to put a headline on it, would be I root for the locals. It's
Yes,
not
because
so
you're
much
not-
the relationships that I've built or whatever. It's the locals. I don't know the Temple coach from Adam.
Right.
But
His name's Adam.
Yeah,
His name is Adam.
That's why I
Adam
said
Fisher.
it. But if he got advanced or if he was in his conference tournament, I'd rather them win than Rhode Island or St. Louis or anything. And how cool was it? I love that we're doing this Big Five talk with the Classic coming up on Saturday. But we talk about Dumpf and how he has just it. He just gets it. And John, you and he had a conversation and all that. How about him just getting the team and saying, we're taking the subway down to Temple tonight?
See, I love that.
I think that's the coolest thing. There was a picture on...
He used to do that when he was at Temple, too.
Yeah,
like
I love
when they would play at the Wells Fargo Center, you see the whole team just...
Well, it brings Phil Dunphy, Fran Dunphy.
Modern Family,
I love
bud.
Phil Dunphy, too, though.
Yeah.
Fran Dunphy understands this city implicitly.
Dick
And
Girardi,
everything that the Big Five means and acknowledges to every listener of this radio station.
He's one of the good guys.
Fran understands it implicitly, and I would say probably better than anybody just because of his pedigree.
Yeah.
He's been everywhere.
Dick Girardi, a former colleague who's going into the Big Five Hall of
Congratulations.
Fame on Saturday with Mike Kern. Dick Girardi, the ultimate compliment he would ever, and it was a joke among us, the ultimate compliment he could ever give anybody from Calipari to whoever was he gets it.
Yes.
And Fran Dunphy defines he gets it.
Tomorrow, you can get us at David Auto. We'll be out there. DriveDavid.com if you want to just get, you're looking for the address, you're looking for information. It is our first Friday on the road. First time we've done that. And David Auto sponsors our first Friday broadcast, and we greatly appreciate that. We'll be out there tomorrow. He's having his Adopt a Kid program for Christmas, and they really need your help. There's a lot of people in the Chester community that are going to go without a Christmas holiday. So you can go to the website, drivedavid.com, find out how to be a part of it. Now, it appears tomorrow it looks like Landon Dickerson will be joining us early in the morning, which is great.
Nice.
Yes. They have a walkthrough tomorrow, but Landon on the way down, he's a customer of David Auto. And a couple other big men expected to join us, whether it's on the phones or otherwise. So It should be a big day. Come on by. We look forward to seeing you in that. I want to close with this because, Bob, it's something you brought up. Does the stretch that the Eagles are on right now, do you like having the tough stretch at this time of year? Is this the time to have it because they get beaten up, right?
Well, I don't know. Or does it toughen you up?
Oh, it's got to do that,
You
right?
know, like, Pat, we talked about this before, I think in years past, John. I know it was a subject in a show before you got here. And I talked about when you finish a season with good opponents and you know, you're going into a playoff and you win those games, aren't you playing your best football, basketball, baseball, hockey at that time if you're doing that?
If you're playing
beating
good
the
teams
best.
and winning, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So does this come at a good time? Does it come at a time where, man, you just had the likes of Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, now San Francisco. You know, it's going to be a tough test out in Seattle. Is this a good time when it's coming to play these tough teams? Or, conversely, like you said, or is it a time you're getting beat up?
I got to tell you, I would worry about the beat up factor because it ends up. Look, they talk about it, a battle of attrition when you play certain teams the week after. Unless you tell me the last Giants game means nothing, and you can rest everybody, and you get 2 weeks before the playoffs start, I'm not as worried about the beaten up part of it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're going to have that. I think you're going to have the bye. So I think having these tough games down the stretch gets you to a point of you playing your best football.
And your last three are just Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, and that's okay. There's your rest.
Hey, Danny in Connecticut wants to close out the show today. Danny, you have a thought. What's going on?
Yeah, about the Big Five. What's up, John?
What's up, buddy?
Sam Mason's uncle. We emailed back and forth before. Your big General Hospital guy.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, so I don't understand. Listen, I went to Temple. I have brothers and sisters that went to other Big Five schools. The Big Five trumped the school that you went to. It's just absolutely. Growing up, we rooted for. Are you trying to tell me you were rooting for Georgetown in 1985 to beat Villanova?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't root for Villanova. I didn't root against them. I don't actively sit there and go, "Oh, look, if I'm sitting in there and I have a chance," but I am not in any way saying, "Oh, root against." Look, I'm not rooting for Georgetown, but I'm not rooting for a rival. I'm not doing that.
Insane to me. Everyone that I know in my circle, where we grew up in Philadelphia, we rooted for Jameer Nelson and St. Joe's during their run, and we're bummed.
But you're not a big Temple man, then.
I'm a huge Temple fan.
You can't be.
I was there with Aaron McKee and Eddie Jones. I went those years. I was at McGonigal Hall.
I was too. But the thing is, if you're rooting for Villanova actively, if you're rooting for Penn, I don't see it the same way.
I root for Temple against every one of those teams, and I root for those teams when they're not playing Temple. Insanity. Your rationale is insane.
I think you're the insane one. How about that one, buddy? But we appreciate you, Danny. Take care of yourself, man. I think he's insane.
I think I'd be on Danny's side more so than your guys' side.
Can you see our side of it, though? Like if
sure.
Temple and Villanova, which I know that they haven't won a lot of them, but Temple and Villanova, they usually do recruit the same kids. They'll at least try, the local kids, right? If Temple loses to Villanova, or Villanova is ranked and doing better, it doesn't help my program. It's bragging rights.
And more importantly,
and winning the Big Five is part of that too. It's bragging rights. So no, I'm not going to cheer for the other local teams because, and by the way, and if it didn't affect my favorite team, which is Temple, yeah, I probably would cheer for the local teams.
The people are talking about it's all about proximity. It's all about proximity. No, it's not. You think Alabama fans are rooting for Auburn when they lose? You think Georgia Tech fans are rooting for Georgia when they lose?
No, they're killing trees.
They hate each other. You think Clemson and South Carolina will ever root for each other? Don't give me this proximity stuff. It doesn't make sense.
It goes to you've got to be really following the programs pretty closely because I'm talking about recruiting. And I don't know, but is Danny dialed into the recruiting situation of Temple or St. Joe's or Villanova?
Temple.
Yeah, but I don't, there's different levels to how in you are.
Hey,
but I appreciate him listening.
Support life-saving cancer research. We do like Danny. Join us and our generous partners, Paul B. Moyer and Sons, and make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today. Do it at 975thefanatic.com/AACR because I'm living proof 3 times over that cancer research saves lives. We sort of like Danny, right? Do we like Danny or we sort of like
Whose uncle did he say he was? How did it come into? He's an uncle of General Hospital or something?
No, he said he's a fan of General Hospital.
Oh, God. Yeah, we don't like Danny.